Live, bro.
Yeah, we're live, bro.
Mics are hot.
Mic
Mics
check,
are
1 2
hot.
1
Live
2.
with the Codcast. Episode. What number episode is it?
37
Damn.
Accuracy.
is now live. We'll get going here in a minute. Our starts have been a little too slow. Bang, we live. Tweeted it out. Tagged you. It's a fantastic show, brothers. Ben, appreciate
I'm
you
down,
being
bro.
here producing once again.
No problem.
Much love, my guy. We'll let a couple people load in here and we shall begin. Yeah, dude, I thought I had COVID last week. I was worried.
Yeah, honestly, when you text me, I was like, damn, I hope you're okay, bro.
What it
We
was
never actually.
was
Oh, go ahead.
what's up, John?
We never actually told people why we canceled, huh?
I just said I was sick. Because I just said I wasn't feeling well because I don't want people to be like, Nameless has COVID, Reddit, like, so.
Hey, were you trolling or were you being safe, bro? Or you going out and about, so you're paranoid?
No, I was like, my neighbor had COVID, so I was worried.
Oh shit.
Like literally walk out of my door, across the door, like
Yeah.
that apartment they had.
Someone in our building got it like right when around the time when quarantine got like super serious,
Yeah.
and they didn't tell us like what floor it was on or anything. I was like, yo, like I'm never going outside. I have
It's
to stay
scary,
inside
dude,
the whole
because
time.
where you're at is crazy because you guys are in, without giving your precise location, you're in like
Yeah.
downtown.
Yeah.
So it's wild over there. How are things now? How's everything?
It's been super calm and chill, to be honest. It hasn't been like in the beginning it was dead. Like when you look outside, it was actually kind of crazy to see because normally you're just city hustle, bustle, swarms of people everywhere. Right when the quarantine started, like you would look out and it was just dead.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of like getting back to some more hustle and bustle, but everyone around here is pretty masked up and like taking good precautions.
What was it like, joining the New York squad, moving to New York, and be like, yo, I'm about to live, NYC, because you're from Cali, your whole life, born and raised
Yeah,
Cali, like
and the burbs too.
a lot different. And you spend like, I don't know how many months you spent being able to enjoy, New York, and then bang, quarantine hits, bro, and you're just in this nice apartment up there in a high rise, trapped, can't do shit. How was that transition?
I mean, it kind of sucked because once I knew I was joining the New York team, I like romanticized the experience in my head like crazy. I was like, yo, I'm going to NYC. It's gonna be fucking lit. Like, it's
Yeah.
gonna be so dope. And then we got here, and it was kind of mostly just like business. Like, we were grinding the beginning of the season. Everyone's
Of
putting in
course.
overtime hours.
You're traveling
So we
too.
did, yeah, and we were traveling a bunch, so I didn't get to do like too much like sick NYC stuff. And then right after that, COVID hit, and I was like, damn, like I really moved all the way out here and didn't even get to really experience like NYC the way I expected to.
Damn. What were like some of the things that you were like hoping for from NYC? Like just being able to restaurants, bars, like
Yeah, like all the amazing food everyone talks about NYC, just all like going out at NYC, everyone says like a dope experience, all the food, like just
yeah.
going around the city, like seeing everything, that NYC has so much to offer, and I wanted to just experience all of it, but while I could.
I
Yeah.
feel that so much because I was on the East Coast for like the last couple of years. Ohio last year, basically for the pro league, and then I moved back to LA, and then it's like, let's get it popping, baby. I'm back. Like,
Yeah,
actually,
exactly.
I'm from the burbs like Lamar. I actually don't live very far from where Lamar lives in Cali. So then I was actually living in the heart of the city. I'm like, let's get it popping.
Exactly, yeah.
And you guys are
Yeah.
into like the hot zones, like the trap zones. Like at least things are still open here. They're doing like outdoor stand-up shows and stuff where I'm at. So
Really?
you can still safely enjoy yourself. They're pretty smart about it. So, but yeah, that's tough. I know after your guys win, what did you guys do after you won the tournament? What was your celebration?
After we won, we literally all we did was like we ordered like a good Italian restaurant and just went to our rooftop of our building and just like chilled up on the rooftop, had dinner up there. Like it's pretty
Yeah.
dope up there. We
Yeah.
have a nice view of the city and everything. It's like super sick, the view. So we just had dinner up there. We didn't actually, get to go out to like a nice like restaurant and chill and whatever, but we did what we could.
Yeah, I feel like it was like a tough, like a huge opportunity to make sick content for you guys being in New York, like a COD team all living in like downtown NYC. You guys could have made so
Yeah,
many
exactly.
cool videos and stuff, and then
Yeah.
quarantine hits. You guys haven't been able to do anything. But
I'm
hey,
telling you, bro, the thoughts in my head, I was like, yo, I can't wait to go to NYC. It's gonna be so lit. Like, oh my God, I'm freaking gonna be going nut. I'm gonna go turn up. It's gonna be crazy. And
yeah.
then, yeah, and then quarantine hit.
You guys all still like hanging out and stuff though, like to stay sane, obviously, because you don't have your families and stuff near you. But you guys all
Yeah,
still hang
yeah,
out, right?
yeah. We chill like not that much, but a decent amount. Just randomly, we'll go to the rooftop or like do stuff like that. Just eat up there, have lunch or whatever. But that's about it.
So that leads me to my next question then. Like, what does Lamar do for fun now that you're in quarantine in one of the toughest places during this? Because New York's got hit hard. What do you do for fun, man? Like, how do you unwind?
I've become a master of Netflix.
I thought you were gonna say something way different, my brother. I'm not gonna lie.
Nah, I basically, for the most part, what it's been is me and Dylan have been on a pretty good schedule. Like, New York had a thing with Nike going on where they had like a trainer before quarantine. We are going to the Nike HQ and working out over there like a few times a week.
That's cool.
But
I
now
didn't know that.
because we're quarantined, we just get on Zoom with him. He, gives us like lessons, whatever. He trains us, and we work out, chill, scrim. I'd honestly try to play as much COD as possible now because I got bored of Netflix. But there's literally nothing to do besides just play the game, try to get some workout in at the crib,
Damn,
and
dude.
watch Netflix.
You don't
What's
feel like
crazy?
that?
You say
Go ahead,
you
John.
say that, but I see like sorry to like switch lanes, but you say like there's nothing to do but sit around and basically play games, watch Netflix. But every night I see on Twitter like people struggling to actually get tens popping. Like you know what I
Bro,
mean? With so many people,
don't
with
get me started on that. I'd be begging people. I'm like trying to get 10 started for 4 hours, like recruiting people, this, that, losing my mind. It's so hard to get tens for some reason.
What is everybody doing? Like you guys all like obviously you guys like you probably can't even imagine what other people are doing because you're just like there's nothing else to do, right? So
Yeah, like
so
what
what
are
the
you?
hell are they doing?
No way you're going outside. Like there's no way you're going outside. Like come on, man, just get on the toy. Let's play some tens.
I will say it's probably a bit different in certain places though. Like if there was an Ohio team, like they'd be able to go do stuff. Like, you can go to a restaurant and stuff like that, So it's probably a bit different for some of the teams.
There's a couple places here that are like open with like outdoor seating and this and that. But to be honest, like I've been in the quarantine so long that it's like I already messed everything up for so long. Like being stuck here, I'm not gonna risk catching it now, 5 months later, 4 months later, or whatever it is, because I want to go to a restaurant and like or do whatever. Like I'll just stick it through until I feel safe. That's like my perspective on it.
No, that's good. So, but how has it been hard to find tens with champs coming up? That doesn't make sense to me.
that's never
Um,
happened before. It usually kicks back up right
I
before champs.
I think it's just a culmination of people being a little frustrated with the game they're playing. So that, and then I can't even put my hand on it. People be playing Warzone still and just doing that stuff instead of playing tens.
Wow, Warzone is like taking a dip off the deep end. So I'm surprised that people are actually really enjoying that over like playing tens and stuff right now. I guess that
Well,
says
it
a
makes
lot.
sense from their perspective, right? Because they like you wake up and play Warzone, they wake up and scrim. Is like a break from what they're used to. You can
I
only
don't
play
know what I
Warzone
would. I
and
don't
get
know.
ruined all day.
I think I'd rather get slide canceled by Shotzi than get Bruin 10 times in a row. I'm not sure. Like those are pretty
I don't
equal to
know,
me.
bro. I don't know. Are you sure?
You're playing with fire
I don't
either way
know.
there, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So let's talk about beginning of the season. Briefly address that because every episode we kind of go through a walkthrough of the beginning of the season. Or the off
Yeah.
season as well. So talk me through like off season, your plans, and how the year started, and how the team formed.
So around the off season, I mean, New York recruited Bobble and JP. Like they were like signed super early to New York.
Hmm.
So when that happened, Bobble was obviously my coach previously on EG,
Mhm.
and I knew I wanted to play in New York. I either wanted to play in New York or I wanted to play in LA. Like that was one of the two options that I wanted to play for. So I wanted to be somewhere dope, and I planned to move wherever like I played for. So I wanted to be in a dope city. So when Bobble got that, he was doing some roster formation. He hit me up. He's like, "Yo, like, would you be interested in joining? Whatever, whatever." I was like, "Of course. Like, I
Yeah.
would love to play in New York." So that came about, and then
You were
obviously
the
Dylan at that
first.
point.
Sorry, you were the
You're the
first
first
pickup,
person.
right?
I was the first pickup in the whole league actually, but
That's crazy
it
to
was,
think
it
about.
was never. I was the
So,
first official contract approved in the whole CDL.
so were you extreme? I remember talking to you through all of this actually when you were like making a decision and stuff. I don't remember what number you agreed to, but I remember a number that you.
Oh,
Well, I'm not gonna. We don't have to say the number, but I remember the number
yeah.
that you wanted. being the first person could either be like really good or really bad. Like now knowing what everybody got, are you still very happy with what you got?
I'm definitely satisfied. I'm great. I'm happy to be the first person with the number that I got. Like it was a pretty easy process. You know, there was no like issues.
That's good.
Obviously, there's some outliers that later on after that had some leverage being later on to sign or whatever's going
Yeah.
on. But besides that, I think I got like I'm very satisfied with what I have.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, that's smart, anyways, because we already know that greed definitely can kill in certain
John,
situations.
hold on.
Exactly.
Let's
We
talk
know
about
this.
this real quick with Lamar because he omitted this conversation we had. Us three and Looney and one other person. I forget who else was there, but there was one other person. I think it might have been Temp. We were all on a call, and Lamar was like, "Yo, Aunt John, I just got offered this by New York." I was like, "But I don't know."
yeah,
But he was like, "I don't know if I'm gonna accept it." And then John was like, "Listen, cut the bullshit. What number is it?" And then he like said it, and me and John were like, "Motherfucker, just accept it." And he's like, "I want this." He was like, "But I want this," and it was like $6,500 more than the other one. And I was like, "Dude, like, come on now." And I remember you said you called your dad, and your dad was like, "Son, are you an idiot?"
Yeah, that's basically what he said. He was like, bro, like, he's like, bro, stop tripping on any of these small numbers. Just fucking sign the damn thing. Stop stressing. Be done with it and move on.
You don't sign in blood right now. And you're like, what?
Yeah,
Sign
that's hilarious.
immediately.
Yeah, I just think it's funny that you called your dad, who like
Yeah.
doesn't know the economy of COD, just to get his opinion. It's like you knew already, and you just wanted to hear it from your dad.
Yeah, I mean, bro, coming into it, like, I was a free agent. I feel like I was one of the only people that was actually a free agent.
Yeah,
So I was like, damn, like, I'm in a moment where, you know, Call of Duty's changing, the league's changing, there's new franchises coming in, all of that, like, and I'm coming in as a free agent. I want to make sure that I take advantage of this opportunity because it was very rare in that scene to come in as a free agent. I feel like everyone had a buyout.
yeah. Well, you were like looking back at it, you're a pretty high profile pick because of that reason. Like being such a talented player and also being a free agent was really valuable coming into the league.
Yeah, I got blessed. EG took amazing care of me. You know, I'll always be grateful to Towie for the way he handled that situation.
Yeah.
He blessed me because EG as an org had an opportunity to to take advantage of me heavily, but Towie blessed me and made sure I was in a great position.
I feel like you landed in like a really good spot in terms of like not really having the risk of getting dropped for like a dumb reason, like one teammate doesn't like you, etc. Like you got into a good situation because there's a lot of teams you could have been on where like if they were underperforming, they could have easily been like, let's try a new player, let's swap this player out. Did I ever like cross your mind too? Like this is why I'm going with New York because I know like they're gonna take care of me and I won't be at risk to get like dropped for any dumb reasons.
I mean, of course, when you're building your team, you never want to build a team that has issues where the roster changes have to become like non-game related. Whenever you have a team with those type of issues, it's gonna obviously, like you said, affect roster changes to where someone gets dropped because of something outside of the game, personality or whatever, or also it bleeds over to the game. So when you have those issues outside the game, it just makes your team worse internally, anyways. So I definitely want to avoid all of that under any circumstance.
And you did that by getting what? You're basically your best friend in gaming on the team with you and attached. Was he like the
He's
first guy
also
you
good.
went to? No, yeah,
Yeah.
and he's also very good, obviously, and he was on this team with EG.
Yeah.
Was he the next guy that you guys signed, or how did that go?
Yeah, I basically told Bobble and New York like I'm playing with Dylan no matter what coming into the year. Like that's who I want to play with. So talk to him, figure out his contract, and get him signed.
Yeah,
That's what's up. That's
that's
crazy.
what's
He could have looked out for you like that back in the day, like when he was on page.
And then you guys went and you picked up the other players. I know it was really stressful getting Donnie, right? Like that was kind of a tough situation. How'd that go? Because I mean,
what can I say?
I mean,
Yeah.
but like, what's secret about it? I mean, he was on, Ultra, and then they were holding him for a bit, and then it was like a fight, and then you guys.
Yeah,
ended
so
up buying him out?
basically, yeah. So that's basically the way the circumstances were. I mean, he was on Splice. Obviously, last year, Donnie was one of the best players in the game. That's undoubted in
Yeah.
anyone's mind. So coming into this year, the teams that had a team last year and also had a franchise spot this year, they had the option to sign or match any offers that their players got to keep them for the franchised year. So at that moment, the Splice camp was obviously blown up into bits. Kyler went back to Envy.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to Jerd. Who else was on team? Yuli got dropped, or whatever happened. And at that moment, I think they realized, wait, maybe we can't let Donnie go because a bunch of players from their team are also gone. So we kind of got paranoid for sure. Like, yo, if they keep Donnie, like this is gonna be an
What was your
issue.
other options?
I didn't even honestly. I didn't even think of other options because I was like, bro, like
Wow,
Marvel, I don't know what's
that's
going on.
scary.
Y'all gotta figure it out. Like you gotta figure it out. And I also knew that. I mean, I don't want to talk about other people's business, but I kind of knew, from my third sense, that I didn't think that Splice would really, really try to like forcefully keep Donnie. So we knew along like because Donnie wanted to come here. Also, if he put pressure on his side, and we put pressure on our side, that the deal would end up going through.
Wait,
Like,
hold on. Now that I think about it, your guys' other option was Doug Sensor Martin. Like, if you didn't get down, it was going to
Oh
Sensor.
boy.
what?
Well, we're going to talk about that at some point too, but we'll get to that later on. He said,
So what
"Oh,
made you
shit."
what made you want to go back to Donnie after what happened the year previous on Splice? If you guys don't know, I actually teamed with Donnie on Splice and then ended up getting dropped. That's why he ended up on EG. What made you want to go back to teaming with Donnie out of that whole situation?
Well, one, I knew that Donnie was an amazing player, and everyone in the community has been on his case about not winning or whatever it was. But because I teamed with him, I knew what he brought to the table as a teammate, in the game, in the matches, and also like just his talent level. So, one, through that whole Splice thing, I had bad blood with everybody on the team but Donnie. Like I hated everyone at the time when I got dropped, but Donnie. So I was like, forget all these fools. Like I don't care about any of them. They all suck. I just want to play with Donnie, and I was down to run it back with him because I knew if me and him teamed together again under better circumstances with other pieces around us, with not all that outside game drama bullshit going on,
Yeah.
we can make something happen.
Yeah. We're breezing through sort of the team stuff, so let's breeze through it some more. With the Zero decision, I feel like you guys never really came out on social media and said exactly the reason why you guys released Zero. You kind of just got rid of him. You're like, let's bring in Mac, speed up our team. What was like the reason? The weeks leading up to it, like how was it handled? What was the reason? Why'd you guys do that?
So it's no secret that Trey's more comfortable with the AR than he is with the sub. And at that moment in the game, to be honest, I think we made a mistake because at that moment in the game it was a 4 sub meta, but Florida showed that even with all that same meta going on, you could still run 2 ARs and be like impactful. So I think our initial mistake was trying to use that 4 sub meta for our team when we could have done what Florida did and did that double AR stuff and been as successful as them, or like try to replicate that earlier in the season. So because we didn't do that and we put him on a sub role, he's obviously naturally uncomfortable, and he wasn't in a position to be the best player he could possibly be. Like it was just bad circumstance the way the meta played out for this game. And this also isn't like a game where it's like a normal sub player. Like you literally have to be cracked, and that's the only way to play. Like it's not like you're being super methodical and this and that. It's like you better just be fucking twisted.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what like hurt
That's
you a
true.
little bit.
But also to be fair on your guys' decision, like at the time, it's hard to be the first team to do something like that, to like switch up the meta and be the 2 AR team, and it's also
Yeah.
hard to be like to do it so early. Like you have to learn the game first, and I feel like Florida's been deep into the game before they made that change and knew how to play. Everyone knew how to play and whatnot.
Yeah, that's true. Like when you don't know how to play, it's easier to be successful with just more chaos. So like 4 subs, if you don't know what's going on, how to play the game perfectly, you just gives you more opportunity to make mistakes and do whatever because it's just more floody, win a couple more gunfights, and you save the situation.
All right. Well, now we got through all that stuff. I want to talk sort of about this year, first year of CDL, and how it's been for you. So like out the gates, like we have launch weekend, we have a few events. Or like your initial impressions from like the first events, the launch of the CDO, everything that was going on. What were your initial impressions of all that?
So the first impressions, like going to Minnesota, I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of skeptical. I was like, damn, first tournament, in Minnesota in the middle of winter, like gonna be kind of hectic. Like I don't know how many people are gonna be here, what's gonna be going on. And then we showed up, and I saw the crowd for like the good matches for the weekend. Like when I saw the crowd, I was like, damn, that's kind of dope. Like there's a good amount of people here in a like location that I didn't think many people would show up to. And it was also super, super dope to see how like ride or die they were for that Minnesota team off the bat, like first tournament of the year before anyone knew the team was even good.
Yeah.
Like no one even knew the team was good. No one expected anything, whatever it was, and they were just showing up riding for their team, and that was dope.
I thought that everything about that was so cool. Like to jump on what he was saying, like to show up to Minnesota when it was like 12 degrees or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. I was freezing. I was
Yeah, it was super cold.
Wait,
dying.
dude.
there and to see like the crowd actually go crazy for God RX. Speaking of which, we'll bring that up later.
Yeah.
But it's like to go crazy for God RX when no damn well no one's ever gone crazy for God RX outside of his girlfriend or something. It's like to actually see that happen in person was pretty dope. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
dude,
was
I had
like,
people
wow,
legitimately
this is
saying, "Let's walk back to the hotel." I was like, Psh, "What? I'm Ubering for sure, bro. It's
Yeah,
ice
nah.
on the ground. It's freezing. Like, I don't
Even
care
if
if it's
it's 5 minute
6
walk,
blocks."
I'm
It's
Ubering.
like 4 blocks. I'm like, yeah, okay.
I was like, "Yeah, see y'all at the hotel, bro." I'm
All
like,
the Uber expense.
I had a Tito soda in my hand. By the time they walked in with their scarves, I was like, "Nice try." I'm out of here.
Yeah, nah, that was. I wish we had more lands in like doper moments before obviously the quarantine and stuff started. Like if we could have had like
Yeah, man.
another London event or that like more LA tournaments, just like the Miami stuff like that would
Atlanta
have been super
venue
dope.
too. Atlanta's venue was sick,
Yeah,
bro.
I didn't get to go to
you
that
didn't go to
tournament.
Atlanta. Yeah, that
Yeah.
venue was sick. So which ones did you go to? You went to
I went
launch
to
LA?
Minnesota, London, LA,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it, I think.
What was your favorite out of the three?
Um, I mean, biasly LA because I got to stay home for a bit, see my family, but as an experience for the tournament, London for sure. Like the crowd in London's always amazing. Like
London went late too
They're
that day.
undefeated, bro.
they show up with the passion, and that's one thing I always respect like the European crowds for is like they have the passion and they care about the game or whatever and they show it. But in America for some reason that's not like a thing. Like if you show your excitement, people look down upon it like, oh, you're weird, you think that's
what are you
cool?
cheering
Like
for? Like,
yeah. It's like yo, we paid money to be here.
They're
You better
just all
fucking
trying to
cheer,
act.
bro.
A lot of them are trying to act too cool, man. That's the way I
Exactly.
described a lot of the U.S. fans when we're at like an Anaheim event or whatever. Like, I was
Yeah.
trying to act too cool, man. Like, get into it. It
Like-
makes it way more fun.
No, you know what's
way
crazy?
more fun. Way more fun.
A lot of people said it's because of the alcohol that they're allowed to serve in the European events. At the American events recently, there was alcohol. Like at the Minnesota event, there was literally I've never seen it wall to wall alcohol.
Oh yeah, on each side
Yeah.
it was literally wall to wall.
Literally wall to wall. I can't make it up. Like I never seen this much alcohol in my life.
Yeah, that's true.
Wall
That's
to
true.
wall, and people were drinking, and it still wasn't like the European event.
No,
So just
it's
to
not
say that it
the,
was,
it's not an alcohol
it's
thing.
not a
It's
alcohol
literally
thing.
just like a culture thing. It's a culture
Yeah.
thing, 100%.
It's like one
Complete
gigantic crazy family is what it's like.
Yeah, and I never get it because it's like, bro, like you paid whatever amount of money to be in here and watch the matches. Why you acting like you don't care about the matches or you don't care about who's on the stage? Like if you don't start
Yeah.
fucking cheering and like,
I think with
and
a
you
lot
can,
of
like do something, you know?
I think with a lot of old like COD or CWL events, it was mainly because it was like a lot of people there for not to really support the games. A lot of the times, like there were a lot of fans and they would get loud, but a lot of the other people would just be there just to hang out, and that's
That's
probably
true.
what
That's
played a big
true.
part. But the reason I ask about your initial impressions is because I was wondering, did it live up to your expectations, like the launch of the CDL and everything? Because we've been playing COD forever, and CDL comes out, we expect big things. Did it live up to your expectations initially?
I mean, I knew coming into it that there was gonna be like some growing pains with it. So my expectations were high, but also with the understanding that it's not gonna come out the gate and just have like packed arenas of fans that are cheering for the home team right away. Like those fan bases are gonna need to be developed for the home teams to have that like home crowd advantage. But besides that, I think everything was dope and like they were doing the best that they could with the circumstances that everyone was in.
Yeah. Well,
That's true. And they did make that change early in the season. If you guys remember, early in the season, it was supposed to be like you showed up and just played like
One match or something.
one
and
match
left.
or whatever
Yeah.
match. Yeah. So like that could have affected things too. But then they switched to the tournament format, and I know that
Yeah.
the CDL is really trying to work on things. And then unfortunately, of course, this COVID situation happened for everyone.
Yeah, it's just out of hand. Like no one, you can
Yeah.
do nothing about that. But the
Right.
fact that they were able to change the format to what everyone wanted, like
Yeah,
on
that's
such short
amazing.
notice, it kind of meant a lot to me personally because like you could see that okay, they're open to making changes. They're open to doing what the community needs. They're not just set in their ways of like any suit corporate ideas where it's like, now we think this is best. We should do this. But they actually responded to what we wanted.
Well, man, like, yeah, I remember that first schedule, the 28 weeks, or whatever, was gonna put me
Bro.
out of commission, dude.
I had like a schedule at one point where it was like fly from here to Paris, play one match, come back, fly straight to Toronto, play like 2 matches, come back 3 days later, fly to LA, play like another match, and I was like, yo, this is 3 weeks of travel. I played like 4 matches,
That's
and
too
I'm
much.
flying continent to
way too
continent,
much.
country across coast. I was like, damn, bro.
People
Way
kept
too
bringing
much.
up the sports
You can't
comparisons.
practice.
People
Like,
kept bringing
yeah.
up the sports
Not the same
comparisons,
at
and I
all.
was like, "It's different, dude. They make millions and millions of dollars, and millions of
Yeah.
people watch those games. So it's just a little bit different. And the stakes are obviously a lot higher in like an NFL game than it
Also,
is.
Yeah.
you
kinda
kind
game.
of pull up to you can pull up to anywhere and hop to a basketball court. You can't pull anywhere and like pull up anywhere and just be a full setup for
Yeah.
10
Yeah. I mean, like,
script.
don't get me wrong, we live the dream. Like, I'm not here to sit here and complain and say, oh, I don't want to travel too much or whatever. Like, the traveling is a dope part of what we do, but at a certain point, it's like, yo, this is kind of gonna like mess with maybe not the effort, but like mess with the production of the team, because when you're traveling that much in such short span, you're losing so much practice time and this and that, and you're hopping match to match. Like, you're not gonna get a chance to like grow, you know?
The
That's
message in the
incredible.
chat just killed me. Imagine flying across the country just to get seesodded in one match.
Yeah, exactly. Like, damn, bro. Yo, you fly across the country and you get squad spawned off of
It's-
the L. Whew.
Oh,
I
man.
love this career, like just
love
esports
it.
working in it so lucky. I used to complain like, oh my god, dude, we gotta fly to Minnesota in
Yeah.
January or whatever the hell that was. I would kill to fly to Minnesota right now, bro. Just like
Yo, for real,
just to get
for real.
back to land events and the environments and just everything. Just
You just gotta
esports
remember,
in general. I would kill for it.
there's so many people who would instantly take your position at any moment. So you gotta be like, yeah, I gotta just take what's
Yeah,
thrown
no,
at me
I'm
and make the
always
best out of it.
grateful for it, bro.
But how do you
Always
think that the CDL, going to online, when that news was broken to you, obviously kind of happy that we were still going to be able to compete, right? Or would
Yeah.
you have rather it stop? Because I saw a lot of people who really would have been happy if we stopped the season and moved to next year. What are your thoughts on switching to online and everything?
I think
How it's
stopping the
handled.
season is just that's just not even an option. Like, that's
Yeah,
not
okay.
really a thing.
That's
Like,
how I
that's
view it.
just whatever that's just pure anger and rage coming out over there. That's not even a real possibility. But playing online obviously does suck because it comes with its disadvantages. But like you said, we're still grateful to be able to compete and play something. Like, that's still dope. I think that they could have come out with the online format with some better things, like that's been already publicly talked about on Twitter, like, the server locations, this and that. If all of that stuff could have been more prepared before the season was launched, so people didn't have all the complaints they had the first few tournaments, I think it would have been way better, and there'd have been way less backlash, like building up and building up.
How do you
know how it is
prepare
in
for
this
that though,
community.
man? Like you didn't know COVID was
That's
gonna
true.
hit. Like
No,
before
you
the
didn't know. We didn't know COVID was in it. So when COVID hit, if my memory is serving me correctly,
We had like 1 month.
we had
I
like
think.
yeah, we had like a month where obviously the events were canceled and they were figuring stuff out, right? I
Mhm.
personally think that it should have been longer than a month, and not the season shouldn't have been launched again online if these things weren't going to be sorted out yet. Unless, obviously, what we don't know is if they knew it was literally impossible to get it figured out until like many, many months.
Well, I don't
then
even
it's
think we had
understandable.
it figured out, for a while, like completely. I mean, we had so many issues in the beginning, but we just it's kind of how COD does it. Like we just figured it out, like we
Yeah,
just
no,
we had to.
we do figure it out. Like, that is great and all, and I'm like I said, I'm grateful and to be able to compete and still do our job. It just sucks that players' careers, players' reputations, players' efforts like can be altered and changed based on what the fans and the people see
Oh, yeah,
like
yeah.
through all of this. So like you could be playing. Let's say Kenny for example, bro. Kenny's an amazing player, but he's getting put in some unfavorable circumstances because of what was going on with all the servers and this and that. Now fans and people are just like, oh, Kenny fucking sucks.
Yeah, but
No, everyone knows that's not the case, but his
It's-
grind, his
No,
image,
I
his
feel you.
reputation, whatever, like,
it's a
you know what I'm
tough thing
saying?
to,
Kenny-
to
Kenny-
think about, but
I mean, Kenny's a good. I think Kenny's a little rough of an example because Kenny is so dominant. Like in general, Kenny has nothing to worry about.
All right, yeah,
But
so
I,
maybe
but I do get what you're
but
saying.
you
I
get
get
what
what
I
you're saying.
mean.
Like there's like a different level of player like below Kenny.
That
where they
doesn't
can
get that
go into
benefit of the
that-
doubt, and
yeah,
they're putting the
exactly.
work in to try to get that reputation, get that, whatever they need to get that freaking
like I
fame
got our
and-
ex, for example.
Yeah,
He is
there you go.
online,
Yeah,
that was good.
Exactly.
Should we just tackle that real quick, by the way? Because people are just gonna keep asking about it all day.
Well,
Lamar, what would you do?
All right,
Go ahead,
might as
go
well
ahead,
fuck it.
go
Let's
ahead,
go
go
into it.
ahead.
I just wanted to hear what Lamar was going to say about how the transition online's been stuff. But
All right.
God or X is a better topic, so we'll go into that. Go ahead, Joe.
all right. What do you want me to do?
let me just lead it like this. What would you do if you played the entire season and then you got dropped literally on your neck at champ, like
I'd
right
be
before
heated, bro.
champs? Like, what could you say? And like,
What
People
would
say
I
Godorex was their
personally
best player.
do, bro? Are you
Obviously,
sure?
Godorex wasn't their best
Are
player.
you sure?
What would you?
I think
what
I'd
would
go
you-
renegade, dude. I'd be
What would you do?
breaking social
What would you do?
distancing rules, bro.
I mean,
So after you sent off your like politically correct tweet, but like you did that part.
I
What
mean,
would
it's
you
just
do
like,
really though?
man, I don't know how to. I don't even know how I'd handle it because, like, damn, that's tough. Like, you played the whole year grinding that out
You don't get
to
the
get dropped
chance.
before the biggest tournament. Like, you don't. There's nothing. Realistically, you have two options, bro. One, you just go fucking rogue and just do something that's gonna like affect your career, or two, you just have to take it on the chin and hope like you get things figured out to where you're not getting screwed out of prize money and whatever that is, at least because you did put in the work all year before that tournament to like get them to that
Dude,
position.
you just
No matter
played a
what happens with the prize money, you're gonna
whole
be salty. So
year.
Yeah, no, yeah, there's nothing
in your,
you can
in your
do to
mind,
get rid
what
of
is
that
what is the
saltiness.
best possible thing that you think Godorex got, like in terms of percentage for the prize money? Like in my head, it's like, let's say he got 5%. If their team wins, and you're gonna be sitting there like, these motherfuckers, bro, they just got 400
Yeah.
K.
Nah,
Right.
of course, like there's nothing you can do to get rid of the saltiness. That saltiness is gonna stay there forever until you get on a different team and you play them at a tournament and you fucking smoke them. That's when the saltiness will disappear a little bit. But before that, like you're just gonna be mad about it the whole time.
Here's the thing: is like he would have to be a different type of person to be like next season starts and be like, you know what, boys, let's do it. You know, make it. You know what, Rocker, let's make it work. Like if I'm him, I would literally go
Hell
to
no, I would never trust those schools again.
I would literally, I'd literally be
nah,
like, Rocker
nah.
management, get me the fuck off this team. And like,
Yeah,
with all
no.
due respect, and I'm happy you guys made the decision you wanted to make, but get me the hell out of here. But
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like for
no.
them,
Good luck, guys,
Godorex
but-
was their best player on land. And going into next year, they might want to keep a player like Godorex, and he is going to be hella unhappy, at least, unless he's super.
Unless he gets the keys to the
composed.
castle and he gets to do what he wants to do.
Which is there's no way that's gonna happen. You don't drop someone before champs and then the next season give them the keys. Like it's
That's
never.
true.
I don't know what I would. I've teamed with some bad people going into champs, and I wouldn't even do that. Like that's some like. That's the next level, and Godorex was their best player going before, and it's the more of an AR meta now. I don't know. I guess he's been struggling online, but
I
like,
mean,
it's just incredible. And it's not like they spent time scrimming with the other kid first. If you look at their Twitters or whatever, we're doing great with Exceed, but I feel like everyone says that.
the thing
afterwards.
about it is like I'm not gonna sit up here and like slander any other player, you know.
Yeah.
But that whole perception that he's like their best player, whatever it was, honestly feel like got kind of skewed by the CDL because I feel like every time Minnesota was on stream for the last 3 months, the only thing that was talked about their team literally was, man, Godorex MVP performance. You really got to get back to that. Godorex MVP, Godorex MVP.
Yeah.
Like that, even though he wasn't performing at an MVP level anymore for like a good amount of time because of online or whatever the switch was, that was all that was talked about. So that's all anyone thought about. Like, yeah, he's still their
Even
best
their
player.
own
Like,
team
look, he was
probably,
their MVP. He's still their best player. But whatever was going on within their team, scrims every day, matches, whatever. Like, I never did do a deep dive into why they made their roster change. But
They made a
made
video,
it-
and what it was that he was just the slowest player on their team, and he wasn't even their main AR, and that's why
we all know that's cap.
yeah. So that's what, that was the video from their coaches that they released, Lamar. So in the deeper
Yeah.
dive you're talking about, that's basically how they justified it. But clearly something was going wrong, so they needed to do something.
yeah, exactly. Like it's easy for us from the outside perspective to jump in and like say whatever X, Y, Z, but in reality, they're the ones playing together every single day. There's no way they just made this decision out of
Well,
like personality or whatever it was. Like they had to have felt like something was wrong. When I look at those players and that management, I don't see them just making like a change like we talked about earlier, where like, oh, people just aren't getting along. Oh, fuck this kid, drop him,
Yeah.
whatever.
to be
Oh, yeah.
clear, I actually don't
definitely
disagree.
true.
I don't disagree
Right.
with them making a change. Even that one because he's been underperforming. I just think that as a player, if I was in that situation, I'd be.
Oh yeah, you're pissed.
Yeah,
You're
I
so
would not
pissed.
play for
that's
the next
what
season.
upset me. Like, so other people have been dropped and they're not playing at champs, but the fact that they get dropped him
right before.
right before they never even played with anyone else, like it's something similar to what happened at Sheen, right? But at least that Optic team played
Yeah.
with these guys at a tournament before. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, here we go. Let's see what happens with Exceed.
I
going
actually
in.
see Ben typing in the chat like stats wise, Godorex is the slowest. Assault's actually one of the faster ARs this season. I mean, stats wise can mean whatever it is. Like I have like a whole nother thought process on COD stats, but like you can't. No one is looking at engagements and saying you're fast or slow. Like people just watch the game and watch you play,
Yeah,
and they can tell if you're fast or slow.
that's the
Like if you have more
difference.
engagements, it's not like, oh, he's so fast. Look how many engagements he has. It's like you could just tell by the way someone plays if they're a fast player or a slow player. It's
So
not. It
to
doesn't come
follow
down
up
to
on
just
Lamar's
blanket
point,
stats.
and that's why I get in a lot of arguments with some fans who like read a spreadsheet and they go, "You're actually wrong. This guy is in a ton of engagements in the first 3 minutes of a map or
Yeah.
whatever." And I'm like, dude, I'm watching a play. I play COD for years. Like, this motherfucker's slow, or off the rip, this guy's not doing anything. Like, there's just a lot of dead time in the map on COD, and there'll be like, for example, there'll be maps where somebody's getting shit on the whole time, and then at the end of the game, like they get like 8, 9 kills, and they look like they played fine.
Yeah,
and their statistics
exactly.
are completely altered. So like, it's about the players when they play against them, they know if a guy's slow or fast, and then also you can kind of just tell by when you watch a team play who's slow and who's fast on the team.
Exactly.
So stats
And
don't paint the full
dude,
picture all the
there's-
time.
there's-
That's why I argue and say things that a lot of people don't agree with when it comes to fast and slow or how
They don't play
plays.
and they don't know. Like
Yeah.
what? You can be playing someone and every FPS pro has like that internal timing, and then they like go back to a certain spot and they get shot and they're like, this guy's still there? Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's so slow. It doesn't matter. He could be 38, but like you're still like, oh my, what are you still doing there? And then other people are just, oh, here he goes, just in my face again, jumping at me. Like, it has nothing to do with the actual engagement numbers like that. These guys play against them all the time. They know who's slow and fast, regardless of what.
And that's
a page
why I
says.
have an issue with like COD stats in general, because like COD is such a dynamic game where there's so much that goes into it. There's so much that goes into the way the team performs, the way the team plays, the way situations play out, that like blanketed statements of just stats and does not paint like even close to like remotely the perfect picture of what's actually going on. Like that, really is something that I wish we could elaborate more on when people are on stream, or like just educate the fans more on that, because it's such a dynamic game that you cannot just look at a stat and say, oh, this guy this, that guy this guy that. Like, there's a million things that go into it.
And also, it's because we're also having people who only play 2 matches at a tournament and then going, their stats from the last tournament are this. You know what I mean? Which could be they lose the series because of different reasons. It might not even be their fault. And then they look like they had like a 0.7 at the tournament, which is like a little bit skewed. And that's just how the nature of like COD broadcast works and how it has worked. And I do think there's a ton of room for improvement there going forward. But yeah, that's definitely changed, opinions on a lot of players since the beginning of the year. I mean, like you brought up the rocker point. I hadn't even thought about that. We do talk about GodRX a lot. You listen to a cast or you listen to analyst segment, like talking about GodRX, because it was the big story with the rocker. But there's other things going on with that team. They probably could have made 2 changes realistically. It could have been GodRX and Silly, but I don't know who their other sub is. Was it Tiny?
Yeah, it was Tiny.
Yeah, so like could bring him in as well. But they should have made a change when we talked about it, John. What was it, like 3 months ago when they had an opportunity?
Yeah, but I said that too. But it's hard for them because they were so successful on land. But it was so clear how like
instantly,
how instantly like far they fell off.
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's a big.
What's up?
Go ahead. Sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Go ahead, then I'll say my
No,
point.
go ahead.
What's it like? It's a moment where like I feel like a lot of people have it in their career, coaching career, whatever it is. Like, there's gonna be a moment where like you just can't be like deluded anymore. Like, you can't just say we got worse because of online, or we got worse because of this. Like, you have to be able to actually do a deep dive and admit, like, okay, we got worse because these things are happening, to get ahead of it. Like, if you don't do that, then you end up in a situation like this.
Yeah, they kind of let it hit them hard, dude, because they were actually pretty good on land, and everybody was talking about how they play the game the right way. They know what they're doing. They look like
They did play the game the right way in the beginning.
They did.
Yeah, no. But what I'm saying is, everybody was saying that, so everybody had taken notice. So they grew a lot of great pride in that they played it the right way. It kind of it grew on their team, and you could tell when you talk to them, like, yeah, we're doing the right thing. We just believe in each other. And then going to online, they started to not play well. And they're like, fuck, what are we doing wrong now? Well, we're not doing anything wrong because we play the game the right way.
Yeah, that's
when they were doing well on land, they were good online before those.
Yeah, that's true too. That's
what I'm saying. Like, they were still good online. Like,
yeah,
like
online definitely affected them. Chat.
I can go back in Brian Saint's tweets and pull out tweets like, we split maps with Minnesota or with Atlanta, when everyone was saying like Atlanta hasn't lost a map and whatever.
Yeah.
Like, not against us. We've split maps. Like, they were doing good online.
Yeah,
so,
no,
like,
they were. They were.
They didn't just fall off because of online. It's just an obvious, easy excuse to make, and it's like a self-defense mechanism, like you said, instead of taking a deep dive into what you're doing wrong actually.
Exactly. And when you don't like that same thing happened to me. Like I literally had to talk about this the other night with like Danny and Donnie and just a bunch of other players. We were chilling in TeamSpeak late night and we were talking about that whole splice situation because I had that moment coming during Black Ops 4. Like I finished my World War II year, had an insane year, came into Black Ops 4, had a like really, really good first tournament, and then at that point I just became delusional. I was like I didn't develop with the game. Like
Yeah.
I was still playing on 4 or 5 sensitivity, running ICR, and getting smoked for like that whole 2 months online before the league because we didn't play at the PLQ. And I was like, nah, it's just online bullshit. Like I was smoking these kids on LAN, like I'm the go, I don't give a fuck. And then I went to the league, played on LAN, got smoked, and I was like, oh shit, it was not just online. Like I just did not develop with the game. I was literally just deluded, you know.
Wait,
So
Lamar, I really respect that because I know a lot of people who get caught in that and then they don't get out of it, and myself included. I was thinking like in AW that happened to me. It affected me for like 2 years. I was like, dude, this online shit is bullshit, bro.
Yeah.
Because coming off of a good year, he was like, this is bullshit. So for you to make that, to realize that as fast as you did is actually really impressive.
And like that was one of the biggest regrets that I had for that year is that if I didn't let all that stuff get to my head and become deluded and egotistical and whatever all that was, I think that our splice team could have carried on differently than it did. But that was like kind of the beginning of the downward spiral of that situation, and I learned from that. I'll never let that happen again. Like I'm always conscious of it. Like, is it really bullshit or am I doing something wrong? To actually find out what's going on, you know?
Yeah. So, switching topics, what are your thoughts on? I think I saw it was like 10 of the 12 teams made it to a grand final this year, something like that.
That's insane.
Half league won, correct? Half league actually has a chip.
Yeah, six out of 12 teams have a chip. So, talk to me about like, do you think that what factors played into that outside of online, like game things? Like, what makes this game different for so many teams to be contending at different times of the year? What is the issue with the game, or what is the part of the game that makes it like that, you think?
I think it's mostly squad spawns. Like you can never perfectly predict exactly how many of them spawned out, how many of them got a spawn, or who you're spawning out, or what's going on. Like most of the time, unless you get like a perfect scenario where it's like blatantly obvious, easy read, you won't be able to keep track of exactly like, okay, we last guy here, just push him, and then you like trade him out. But then there's one guy that got the squad spawn before he died that's like lurking in a random weird corner, and then like some crazy shit happens, you know? So I think that is the biggest thing for the game. And then also I think the format obviously contributes to it because not every team is at every tournament, and then coming into single elim after bracket and this and that is, can lead to some serious upsets and other people winning.
Well, talking about squad spawns a bit, like, just with this game and like the developer support, I just wish that this year we had more support than we did. Like, I think,
of course,
I think why everybody has been so outspoken this year and so aggressive, really, like pros, like, obviously going online didn't do a lot of help for everybody's mental state, but like the game as well, like the developer, I think with the CDL starting, we just saw had a lot of hope and we held it in a lot of high regard. Like the developer would fix some things, and for you, like what have been like the major things that you've wanted fixed since the beginning that haven't changed?
I think since the beginning is the squad spawns, but we quickly found out that wasn't being fixed. Just weapon nerfs, like the M4 got nerfed a couple times in the beginning, which was good. It was needed because the M4 was insane. It still is insane, but the fact that it took 9 months and people frying with the MP5 in Warzone for it to get nerfed a little bit, like that's not cool, Like,
and it's still really, really good too.
yeah, and like, I think some bomb sites could have been moved around differently to make some of these S&D maps better and more like competitive and fair, but those never happened.
We had a couple search adjustments in the beginning of the year, like for.
I think we only had like
Petro
one.
bomb was
Petro,
moved,
yeah.
or
That is
spawn.
crazy
Spawn.
to think about, dude.
Petro
Like,
spawn was moved.
Spawn,
That's it.
that's what I meant. Spawn, not the bomb. Sorry.
Yeah.
man, this is wild.
So like to me, that's like, it just sucks being a player because everyone that knows me also is like, I truly care about the game. I want the game to be in a good state. I want it to be a competitive game. I want it to be fun. I want it to be like reliable. So having all these things that you really want, you're super passionate about it, and you want it to be like fair and good and competitive and everything like that, and you could see how easily it could get to that level or get even closer to that better game or whatever it is, and then it doesn't happen, like it's kind of discouraging.
So for you, trying to figure out the best way to play the game as a team, when did you guys realize, like, all right, so this game is going to be a bit different. We can't exactly master certain things like we could in other games, and this is what we got to do. So let's practice this. Like, when did you guys sort of change like your practice?
To be honest, the biggest change happened when we got Mac, because at the beginning, the first few months, it was kind of just like a moment of one trying to like first accept that this game is the way it is. We just got to accept it and figure it out. So that took some time. Two, like the game's not changing, so suck it up again. And then three, trying to learn what was different about it specifically, like
Yeah.
exactly what was different. And we honestly didn't. We had like feelings and this and that of it could be this, it could be that, and what to do.
But you're trying to play the
clearly,
right way still, right?
yeah. But clearly, like that wasn't correct, because that's the way COD was for the last 10 years. But like that's not the way this game is played. Like those habits, those things that you learned that you usually apply to every COD stopped being applied now. It was completely different, and we had to accept that. And that really helped. That really changed when we got Mac, because he came in as an AM, played this game as an AM in the beginning, and they knew the way MW was supposed to be played and like the way things worked in this game.
Or Lamar, they didn't know how the way COD was supposed to be played, and it just catered straight to their play style.
He didn't say COD though. He didn't say COD. He said MW.
I did say MW.
Yeah,
Come
he just
on,
said
man.
MW.
I made sure. I made sure I did not say COD.
I have a really interesting question.
Hey, like, this is how you play this game. Slide in here, quit bitching.
A really interesting question though. So you guys know John Lamar. You guys know how every year people go like, "These guys are fucked next year." You know, like
Yeah.
the new game. Do you think next year, assuming like this is all predicated on the assumption that next year will be a COD where the spawns make sense, right? Where everything we know how squad spawns make sense. Do you think that there will be like another major drop off in terms of players individually going into next year? Like how we did with Ghost to AW, how that was such a shock, and how we had from last game into this year. Like, do you think that that'll be a thing?
Can we say that first? Ghost AW
was super drastic. Hold on, bro. I just saw a comment in the chat that I have to address. This guy said, "Or COD scene is evolving and a new talent is coming." What does that even mean, bro? This game is played like completely like everyone that plays this game will tell you that it's completely different. Like
it's always a thing.
Yeah, that has nothing to do with like what we're talking about, bro. Sorry, I had to see that and I just like lost.
Nah, I know what you're saying though, but it's like this game has gotten rid of some older. I'm not saying older in age, like more seasoned pros. So like Looney's on the bench, J-Cap's on the bench,
Surge is completely
Enable's on the bench.
Type of players.
All of Surge sucks except for Sam. Like, and I don't actually believe that they suck at COD. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying at MW they're underperforming to their standards.
So that's what I'm saying though. Next year, will a lot of people fall off? Like,
well, this is the thing is that those players that you mentioned specifically, like their natural traits that got them their amazing careers throughout all these other CODs. Those traits that make them such good players like aren't even like applicable to this game. So off the rip, they're at a disadvantage because the things that made them good and great and impactful to their teams just aren't as impactful.
And Surge, they're like hogging those players. They're all on the Surge, dude. Like top to bottom. Karma, bro. Like they're just all there. So that was tough.
If there's a trend, there's literally a trend of all the players that got benched or whatever it was. It's literally all the methodical, smart thinking, like textbook type players that like
break the game down.
That break the game down the proper way and this and that. That's literally the trend of players that got left behind this year or whatever it was. But then you look at those players' history and all the other CODs, they have great results. Yeah, they might not have been the best fucking players in the game. They might not be on the best team in the game, but they were good, and their teams were good. But then this year, with all that stuff being removed, they just suddenly like aren't good anymore. Like people think that they just stop shooting straight. That doesn't happen. You don't just randomly stop shooting straight.
Let's apply this directly to your teammate then. All right. I mean, speak how I'm sure you have nothing but great thing to say about Mac. But Mac, I never heard of Mac before this year. Have you? Honestly. Nope. No, right. So now he's one of the better players in the game in general, in my opinion. I don't know where you'd put him. I don't know how people rank anyone in this game, but like he's one of the better players in the game. Do you think that he'd have any problem transitioning? Let's say, by the way, let's just say it's 4v4 next year. Like, just say things just go flip on its head. Just randomly. It's 44 next year, and it's a game like a normal-ish COD game,
Yeah.
Roots game. Do you think he transitioned just fine?
I think
to
he
that
would
game?
transition fine. At first, if you asked me, like, before I even got to play with him or talk to him or get to know who he was, I'd be like, nah, no way, these kids are just gonna magically learn how to play properly or whatever. But after teaming with him and talking to him every day and whatever it is and like getting to know him, I could tell that he's not just like a player that just doesn't think when they play. Like he actually can communicate really well. Like he has good comms. He understands what's going on. He knows like the BS and MW. Like he's very conscious of what's going on. It's not an accident. Like his moves aren't accidental. It's very
Yeah.
calculated. So when someone has a good mind like that and they're also like a sponge, I expect them to be able to carry their talent into the next game. You know.
Well, that's the thing. Once a lot of those players get onto a team of pro players, they can learn, right? And then
Exactly.
they
Yeah.
get a lot
Yeah.
better.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, but like going to the next game, if it is a good COD, I guess the question would be: do you think you can just go to challengers and pick up 2 players and immediately be contesting with pros? Like how Optic just picks up Draws on Hollow and they're immediately contesting pro teams. Like those kids were great. Draws on Hollow, Draza, amazing player. Hollow, amazing player. Great MW. I'm not hating on them at all, but I just find it bizarre that you can go to challengers and just grab 2 people and immediately be competing with pro teams. Because if you look at any other COD from the last couple of years, you can't just go take 2 AMs and immediately contend with pro teams. Like that's not really happening, right? So yeah, I guess that's my question. Do you think you'd
I
be able to do
don't
that?
think so. Like I mean, becoming in you're talking about like out of the blue in between like in the off season, or are you talking about during the season if they could do that? During the season you could do that because you can obviously pick up like
The best one.
yeah, you could pick the
Yeah.
best AMs. Those
Whoa.
people they will be able to compete, but like
Hold
coming
on.
into the off season if they're just randomly picking up AMs that were like good at the end of
Hold on,
this
hold on.
game or
People
whatever.
are saying Black Ops 4 FaZe Academy. It's way different with Simp than it is with because Simp was already like
No, Simp was already the truth.
yeah,
Like,
he was
people
already
knew
the
he was,
truth. Like it's different with that, guys. Like it's not. I don't
Simp
know.
was
It's
frying me. Simp fried me and Pac-Man in a Black Ops 3 GB tourney. I was like, "Yo, who
I remember
is
that
this
shit,
kid?"
bro.
And I followed him. I followed him on Twitter. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna pick this kid up, bro." I
We
followed
literally
him.
got beat by one player. Like,
Yeah, his bio said he was like 15 or something. I was like, "Ah, I
Dude,
followed
Simp,
him." I was
like we
"Ah."
knew, like playing Simp in SD terms, like there was no hate on Simp. Like if anything, people were like low key kind of scared for him to turn 18. Like
No, there was
we-
definitely some hate on him because the gas was like, "Oh, he's just gonna come in and
Okay,
take over the league," and
maybe
everyone's
some-
like, "Bro, shut up, no way." But he actually did come over and do it. So it's like, damn, you just
we
proved everything wrong.
knew
Good for you.
even if people were hating, they knew low key that Simp was gonna be nasty.
Yeah, no, everyone knew the kid was really good. Like, you can't take the cream of the crop, like, elite type person and be like, oh, look at him as an example. Of
Same
course
with
there's fucking outliers.
Celium. Like we knew Celium was gonna have like some struggles in the beginning, but how good he was online, like you low key kind of knew he was gonna eventually.
Yeah,
really
of
fuck.
course. it'd be
Those
like-
guys that have been absolutely destroying since they started do not count. Like you just said,
Yeah.
taking the cream of the crop, taking the extreme of any example, it doesn't work. Just like if you took the negative extreme, it's just so pointless to do. But if you take the median
Ant
person,
thought Cell was a cheater. What the hell are you talking about? And also, Hooch Lolo, you are an idiot. And that's all I'm gonna say. He clearly didn't watch the start of that show and the format of that show. Yes,
Bro, you
guys.
could just tell, bro. You
guys
could
don't
just tell when you
understand.
watch someone play,
I just
like,
don't understand.
yo, this kid's gonna be disgusting. At that
Shit.
point, after you've watched them play and you see that they're really good, you know they're gonna be good. It comes down to their character.
Hold
if they're
on,
gonna
dude.
be a good
Listen,
person.
I gotta say something real quick, Lamar, because the chat doesn't understand this. As like a pro player, like if they're not on your team, you gatekeep, right? Like you're like, nah, bro, this kid's a joke online. He's got to prove himself. It's like that in any
used to
sport.
be.
You have to
used to
prove yourself, bro. You get roasted, and then you prove yourself, and then you gain the respect of your peers in any sport. That always happens. And with Celium, I never hated on Celium. I said that immediately getting picked up by FaZe and getting what he got that didn't happen in COD prior to that. I remember this. And I got a lot of hate, like old man yells at cloud like type post on Reddit. And I remember just thinking like, wow, they really just picked him up out of the blue because that had never happened before. Like what he got.
Yeah, that's
out the
definitely
gates,
not a normal thing. Yeah.
It's not normal. It was wild. So like, I just had to adjust that in the chat.
I mean, and like as like an older head or whatever, he came in and got body slammed. Let's not forget. Like,
Body
when
slammed.
When he first came in, he was getting absolutely McTucketied. He had like a .3 in a series. And me and I were like, bro, if I ever did this, I would get absolutely fried to oblivion. People already fry my name to oblivion for no reason. But like if I had a .4 after a full series, you get tough. to bed.
Yeah, but
and then
like,
it's like,
that didn't
it's a bad
help.
series. He'll get him next time, and he did get him next time. He proved himself for sure. But like for older players, for people like that, get absolutely.
And
you would
also,
not have
guys,
you would not have had another match with FaZe.
A lot of these-
Bro,
Go
anybody
ahead,
that's super talented that comes into the league, like you from watching them play, you could rate their ceiling or whatever you expect it is. You don't expect them to pull up and just absolutely obliterate everyone coming into a pro environment all of a sudden. Like
expect them to prove themselves, though.
there's
You don't
gonna
expect
be
them to
there's gonna
immediately
be
be
a
on the team.
adjustment period. Like if you see the kid super talented, and he shows up to his first tournament and he does like all right, like it's not the end of the world, bro. You know he's really good. He just has to adjust to it, which is what Cell did. Like the first tournament, he played like probably pretty good, but like not Cellium level. Then the next tournament, he probably started playing a little better. Then by the third, fourth tournament, he started frying everyone, and that's just the way it works.
John, do you want to address Ben in the chat? You're muted.
Ben is the ultimate like FaZe super dick
Nut-
rider,
nut
right?
rider.
Yeah, like he's a fucking dick rider. So anything you say about him, he's like, "No, dude, he came in and dropped the bomb." Like, first of all, we just got through saying how good we think Cellium is, right? Did we not all three say that? Like, Cellium's a fucking beast. But
The fact that
But-
he turned, bro.
if you drop a .4 in a series, if Nameless went to a series and dropped a
I'm
.4,
getting
he's
fried,
not
bro.
playing another series with that team unless there's another series that weekend.
Yeah.
He's never playing again.
Yeah,
And
that's
even in that
facts.
series next weekend, his teammates are like, "You better drop a 1.6." Like, like a .4 is atrocious. Ben's like, he only did that in one series though. Like, what? You don't get you don't get chances like that unless
Your little finger that you put.
unless you either prove to be absolutely disgusting, or nowadays, if you're a kid with a lot of potential. Now he proved that he's really good, which is how we started that. But like to say that, like Lamar, what would happen if you dropped a .4?
Oh,
Like,
like super ultra chalked.
Yes, you'd be
Lamar-
done for. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand how that's
So Lamar,
how that's not to be understood.
question for you guys. This just popped in my mind because I
Yeah.
feel like this could be a big issue next year with teams. So seeing as how a lot of CDL teams found a lot of success with picking up amateur players, right, and paying them not as much as big pro players or vetted pro players, and they found a ton of success. Next year, does it worry you that like some of these CDL teams, their management might start to think that way in a game that might not be suited to pick up players like that, and they might be like, no, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pick up these AM players and make this type of play for the year for our roster. Because to
like,
me, that scares the hell out of me thinking about.
I mean,
that, 'cause I
it's
know they're gonna
definitely-
think like that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely scary. But if they have anyone in their organization that knows anything about COD, they'll know that you can't just blindly go into that. The
All right,
only
so
way you
Lamar, my counter to that is a lot of them have people, but a lot of them have people who they trust who might think like, yo, let's pick up the AMs. Like it worked.
No, there's a level here to it. Like, if you're coming into the next year and you see someone like Simp or Cellium, like obviously if you pick them up, there's nothing going wrong with that. Like that's gonna work out. There's not really many busts of players that look that amazing that end up not being that good. You get what I'm saying?
Agreed.
But if you come in and you're just like, oh, let me just look at the top whatever 4 AM teams from their last tournament, and you just pick like a random kid up that's not actually that Simp or Cellium level talented player or whatever, I don't think it's gonna work out.
I know that's what I'm saying though, but I could see that
Yeah.
happening. Is what I'm
I
saying.
mean,
It
if that
scares me.
happens, it's definitely frightening for all players for sure. Because if that happens, that'll be insane. But like, it would just be mind-boggling to me because I feel like the only way AMs get picked up and it working out is one, like I said, the Simp Cellium
Yeah,
talent
Dan.
level wave where it's just undeniable, or two, it's like midway through the season and you realize, yo, like this kid learned this game pretty well and he's one of the best AMs. All right, let's pick him up.
But
you know?
Lamar, so the reason I bring this up, like, I think you're not, you know what I'm saying? Like going into next year, how much
Yeah.
players were getting paid this year? And then they look at the success of a lot of the amateur players and realize these players are a lot cheaper. Like that's got to be a huge worry for a lot of pros.
Oh,
because-
no, it definitely is 100%. It is a worry. Yeah.
Yeah.
I already said that. For sure, of course, is a concern for every player because that just, it's your job. You know, it's your job, it's your livelihood, whatever.
I think
It's your
gonna
value.
happen. I think it's going to happen. I think a lot of these teams that didn't have a lot of success this year, I think management's going to really be looking at the AM scene right now. This final challengers thing going on. I think they're really going to be making a play to get players for a lot cheaper because there's a lot of teams who severely underperformed that are getting paid a lot, which is just crazy. And then with the rumor of 4v4, what are your thoughts on that?
That's, I mean, Shit, I mean, I love 4v4 COD. Like 4v4 COD is
No, but we all love
way-
that. I'm saying, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on like what it would do to?
the community. If like AM players took spots and it
Because
was 4v4.
immediately 12 people gone.
Yeah.
Shit, that would be.
Who are you thinking of those people that would get? Let's just get.
Hold
down
on, no,
to
no,
it.
we're throwing too much, John. We're throwing too much at him. Hold on. So
Alright,
immediately
hold on.
12 people gone. Thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, that's. Whew. Like that's insane. That's super scary for players. Like that's insane. I don't even know how to react to it because 12 people just get cut automatically, and then from there, it's also like a trickle down effect where, let's say the top 4 teams they all cut a player, that's gonna have a trickle down effect to where
Yeah.
someone else gets kicked off the next team and the next team and the next team, and all of a sudden you're the last person on the totem pole getting booted off, booted off, booted off until like.
Dude, it's
it just
crazy
works its
though.
way down through the league.
Because then you go, all right, 12 people, bang, gone. And then you go, these management teams are like, AM's had a lot of success. We're paying this guy, 300 plus. Bang, chalk him up. Let's let him fend for the Wolves. Pick up this AM for 100. It's like, it's going to be, if that happens, that adds a whole nother element that makes it like, what the fuck is going on, right? Like a huge shift.
What actually scares me is that I don't think that there's a lot of like smart behind the scenes people with these teams. Like if that happens, there's gonna be so much good work needs to be done. Because I think this year, if it taught anyone anything, is that they have to be careful with how they structure contracts so that they can not get stuck in like a OGLA Seattle situation where if their team sucks, they can't do anything, right? But if it's 44, all of a sudden you have, I don't know what they're gonna do with space with the contracts, like the luxury tax or what's it called, salary cap space.
Yeah.
But you also have like superstar basically that aren't on teams. Like, how do you not go pick up Pierce? Like, if you're Paris, no offense to Paris, I know they just got second, so before everyone gets butt hurt. But if you're Paris, how do you not go pick up Pierce? How do you not go look at like Looney, or how do you not go look at whoever gets dropped off Dallas? Like, like I'll take Crim Six or Illy or whoever the hell gets dropped off the team. Like, give me that guy. How do you not do that? And that takes a lot of work behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is that also like it also comes down to these circumstances where, let's say like you said, Optic and Seattle. That's the teams you use as an example, right? Like Sam is their superstar, App, Jerry, like, right? Those 3, Sam, and then those 2 behind him. It's gonna come down to like the org. Are they just gonna? Of course, Sam's gonna get locked up, and no one's letting Sam walk around anywhere. He's gonna be playing for Seattle, in my opinion. Like, there's no way that he goes anywhere but Seattle. So like, do they just tell Sam, "Shut up, you're playing with whoever we signed. It is what it is," or are they gonna take his opinion into account to make the team? Like, I feel like personally, for me, it only makes sense that if you're investing so much into a superstar player, you're gonna take his opinion into account on who he's playing with.
Wait, but. Did they not already do that?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like if I manage my go, listen, like we're gonna make these like we're making some different decisions going in this year. They need to make some moves. They need to hire some people and do some stuff, in my opinion. But yeah, you got to keep Sam, right? He's nasty.
Like yeah, no,
person.
or like even an Optic situation, like you have Austin, Kenny, Tej, like. Anyone that knows Austin, there's no way that he's just gonna let an org formulate his roster for him for any year he's ever competing. Like,
but you also don't want to go crazy
say,
too, though. Lamar. You don't want to go crazy too because there are players that could be good at the next game. That's a really tough one to think. Now I'm thinking about it. The Surge roster, what to do with them? It's really tough. How much to pay that? Like, that's really.
I mean, they already have. The thing is, they already have their deals structured for next year with everyone having a 1+1. But with not knowing the salary cap and how it works, like, do you even keep them? Like, they just have probably such a bad taste in their mouth.
It's just such a risky situation because, like, bro, like you can't just let Donk walk away like to another team without having a very good replacement. You can't let like.
But he's not that desirable.
People talk about Jerry, but Jerry's good as hell.
Bro, what's crazy is we were talking about it in a TeamSpeak one night, and I didn't even know this stat, and I'm gonna give Jerry some gas right now because like I kind of feel super disrespected. Just the way he got treated, like gets me disrespected, to be honest. Because Krim literally told us in a TeamSpeak one night when we were all chilling, he looked up the stats or something, and before Modern Warfare, Jerry had the highest average placing out of any player besides like the Optic Dynasty members. How can you slander that person? That's insane. That's so much consistency.
Well, hold on.
Just let that person walk away?
Slack was getting slandered all of Black Ops 4, and I remember we had to like go in there and be like, "Yo, Slack's been winning," you know?
Yeah,
it's because of how he is, though. Like people, He's done it to himself. Realistically, I
No,
feel
no, I
like
mean I get that. You could not like someone and that could delude your opinions about them, but like as an org also like whatever happened this year happened, how can you look away from that type of consistency that he has on his resume? You can't just let him walk
But
away for free.
also with Slack though, like nobody roasts Slack individually anymore. I think everybody just roasts the Surge. Like when I go on Reddit, it's just like Surge, help Octane. Like I don't think Slack
Yeah.
gets like straight up individual hate. I think it was really just Black Ops 4 where he was getting fucking toasted. What do you say? How did he do that to himself, Dan? Well, I'm more alluding to the fact that he's always talking about gentlemen's agreements. He's really outspoken on his stream and stuff, and he says shit. And I think the community hears it, and then they roast him, and then it just fuels the fire for them to keep going at him. Trust me,
I mean, that's just
I do the
honestly,
same thing. I do the same thing. So I know that I'm contributing to it. Like I'm not an idiot.
that's just the thing of the COD community though. It's like everyone knows that the way this community operates is pretty much like a hive mind. Like you could literally watch a broadcast of the CDL and let's say you say something like whatever it is, good or bad about a player, right? You just say something, go on Reddit literally at any moment when that player gets talked about, they're gonna verbatim say what you say about that player and just post on the Reddit like, yeah, this is whatever. This
No,
is it, yeah.
actually, I disagree with that. If somebody else,
Maybe
if
not
I
you, but,
say
like, maybe.
if I say it, they'll go on the Reddit and be like, "I fucking hate Nameless." That's
Okay, not
that's
you, whatever.
way
If
different.
Maven Merc
The point is,
whoever
yeah,
else, like,
if
you
it,
get
if
my
the
point,
broadcast
bro.
says it, they will parrot it. Like
You
eventually,
get what I'm
they
saying? Like
will.
that's just the way it works. Like any narrative that the casters put out on the broadcast or the analysts or whatever gets put out on Twitter by big personalities, that's a narrative that automatically, whether that supporter knows anything about this person or not, they're like, oh yeah, no, that's true. Boom, that's it. That's that person's narrative, and it just sticks with them. Period.
I don't
Ain't
know.
that
I don't
the
know if
truth?
I completely. I think I think the community forms their own opinions on people. I don't think it really like for the most part, and I think that they run with it when it gets on that Reddit. I'll be honest. I really think that's what happens because I go on there and I see shit that I haven't even heard anybody say, and they're talking about it on Reddit. So I don't know if it comes straight up from a cast or a segment. Maybe like opinions on a show, like the Shotzi thing on the show where I said that and the contestant the point, but I don't know if that happens from the broadcast. I don't necessarily agree with that. It's probably
No,
happened at times.
I'm not saying that it's only the broadcast's fault or anything like that. I'm not trying to point fingers at them. My whole point of that topic is that the way this community works is that whether it comes from the broadcast, someone that they like on Twitter, whatever it is, anywhere where they get any COD information, the second one narrative or one fact gets said about a player, that becomes that player's narrative, and it is so hard to break in this community because it gets attached to them right away.
Hold on, yo, Slack put or the quote no SMG star on the Surge. That's fucking facts though.
But that is facts in this game, though.
That is facts. So like, how are you?
Yeah.
How is that? Like, we were actually in the team speak, like me and a couple of the other talent, and we saw you guys complaining about that, and we were just like, it's facts. There's no SMG star on Surge. Why are they complaining about that? Like that is actually a literal fact. And like for me, that's not the community running with it. That's the community realizing that this is legit. Like there's like that's true, and they talk about it. So yeah, I guess I disagree with you, but obviously there's influence with anybody. If a big pro says it, or if anybody on broadcast says it, obviously they're going to influence their own fans or CDL fans if the fan agrees with it. But yeah,
I mean, the big like for just the Seattle situation that you're like talking about, like the reason, because when pros look at it, they're like, okay, because we always talk about stuff obviously in TeamSpeak. I was talking with Jerry the other night in TeamSpeak. I hope he doesn't care that I'm saying this. Is like, it's a true fact that like, let's say I don't remember the exact stats, right? But let's say Jerry or App, they have like probably like point 0.9 somethings, like close to a 1, right? There's other players that are on other teams that are winning their matches that are dropping those same stats, and people are like, wow, this kid's really good. But because their team's just doing bad, they're dropping the same stat or whatever it is, it's like, damn, that kid's ass. But it's like, yo, one of your players on your favorite team is dropping that stat, and you're like, yo, he's nasty, bro. Like, look at that shit. But because they don't win or lose the game, like, they're like, oh, this guy's just ass. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I
That's why
mean,
I don't like
I guess I don't understand
I don't think
the.
that people think that Jerry's ass. I
Yeah, I
think
don't
he came
think
in
people,
saying
they
that
think
Jerry's
just
very
their
good.
team. People
Anytime
think their team
stars.
sucks because they do suck.
No, but I'm not here to defend just the Surge or whatever. I was just using them as the example of like this whole dynamic that
I
pros
guess I
talk
just
about all
don't
the time.
understand the argument here. I don't truly because like Surge is not good. If people are saying that Surge sucks, it's true. Like if we're using them as an example. So I don't understand the argument. Like if you say like if
Did you
you're
not get my
the
point?
If you
You want me to
take
reiterate
people's stats, you take two people's stats that are on different teams. One has their team has the results. They're going to gas up the player
that's fair.
with the same exact stats. But
Yeah.
I mean, the point of the game is to win. Maybe they're just doing things on the map that lead to them winning.
Also, that player might
Obviously.
have moments where he's doing things well and he wins. So it's like, yeah, you gas up this player for
It also-
0.9 and do it, and obviously his team's winning and his ARs are like, for example, we go let's Florida or whatever, right? Let's say Havoc has a 0.9, but they win in a 3-0 fashion, and we see Havoc do some great moves on the map, take some great routes, and Skies and the rest of the team has a 1.3, right? And somebody gasses up Havoc from a moment he had, and like he's just making the right plays, and they won. Surge, let's say Slack has a 0.9, Octane goes for triple double, and their team gets shit on, and then somebody asks you about Slack, and you go, Slack is not as good as Havoc. Obviously, you're gonna say that because their team's not winning, and you know what I mean. It's just I don't understand that comparison. If it was two teams that were equally playing the same, like performing at the same level, and they both had 0.9s, and one got roasted and the other didn't, like then it might be a little bit different.
It also hurts that team specifically because Sam always has like a 1.4 KD.
Yeah, the biggest thing is that, to be honest, it's like not really many people's faults. It's just that you don't have the time on broadcast all the time. I guess sometimes people probably have the opportunity, but not all the time, or on broadcast or on Twitter or on their streams or whatever, to give the type of education to give people that like to realize that there's a lot more that goes into it when the player's doing bad or good or a team's doing bad or good. It's not just, oh, their AR has a 1.1 instead of a 1.4. That's why they're losing. Or their sub player has a 0.9 instead of a 1.1. That's why they're losing. It's like, bro, people that are talented are going to do good when their team system is good. When their team is playing good, the players are going to do good. When the team's not playing good and the team's just playing the game wrong and bad, doesn't matter how good you are, you're going to end up doing bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just
on the viewer that should be translated.
That type of education to like teach people all of that. So it just comes down to a face value scenario where it's like, oh, just look at the blank numbers and say ass or not ass. You know,
for something like that, though, you need more than like. I guess that would be like the analyst segment of a thing, but you need more than like.
We don't even have that right now, by the way.
Like, so I guess
of course.
Like some people go afterwards and break down the games and talk about like certain plays. You can do that, but you don't have time for that on a broadcast.
Of course, yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why
we don't have we actually currently in our broadcast don't have a post game analysis segment with the way online works. Usually we would go straight to a desk and have analysts do post game analysis. We don't have post game analysis. It's all pre-game predictions, and then we go straight into the next match to get.
No, yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. Like you can't like it's not only the production or anyone's fault or whatever it is. It's just something that we as a community, I would hope, will start to learn and grow as the years go on through the CDL. Because right now, like that base level of COD knowledge isn't really there for like much of the community. And I think as the years go on and people start getting more and more educated about it, these opinions will arise like more clearly.
Yeah, I think Reddit is a lot of like memes and funny and rage this year. But in other years, there has been some good stuff on the Reddit, and I feel like at least our Reddit and core fans, they know more than we give them credit for at most of the time. And this year, though, it's been a lot of memes and stuff because of how the game has been and switching to online. So I think, maybe that's why it's manifesting, and you guys are talking about it in the team speak and shit like that, because everybody shares that same opinion about the game, and that's probably what it's like.
I think it also falls to like the developer to make sure there's a way for the players to play. If you play a game at a high level, if you understand how the game is played, you understand the plays that people are making. And right now, there's no way for people who aren't either top AMs or pros to even play the game like how you guys play the game. The CDL playlist doesn't work, so they can't possibly break down a play like a guy getting or you picking up something that you can pick up if you played the game, that you don't need someone to tell you. Like,
and I will also say this, Lamar, because this might have never been said to you before, or any any other COD pro in the chat. Think about it like this: I'm sure in every other sport, right, in every other sport that you can think of around the planet, every pro player in all those sports wishes the fan knew the game like they did, but unfortunately they don't. So fans are going to form their own opinions. They're going to run with things that might not be exactly what you or the rest of the pros agree with, but that's just how it is. I think I realized that like right when I quit playing I realize that's
if they knew the game as good as me, I wouldn't have a job. Of course, they're not going to know it.
But what I'm saying is you
You
can't
know what I'm
expect
saying?
them.
Like,
You can't
but,
expect
like,
them to accurately judge players because they don't know it like you do. So that's something that people always talk about. Like you guys are idiots. You don't understand. This player's this good. Like they're not gonna understand it.
I personally wish, to be honest, and like I don't want to make this like a whole segment of me just wishing things that were improvement on the broadcast or whatever. But like I watch a lot of COD, bro. I watch every VOD. Even if I miss a match, I'll watch it back. Whatever it is, I watch every broadcast that the CDL puts on or CWL, whatever it is. I don't think I've heard one time an analyst or a caster or someone say something along the lines of, yeah, these players are really good, the team's performing bad, and maybe these players are doing bad because their team just isn't good or what, like, and they need to learn how to play the game, and these players will perform better or whatever it is. It's always at any time, whether there was a live event or an online event, the topic is look at his stats. The topic has never been maybe they're not doing as good because of the like.
To argue that is said in the beginning of the year, but as the year goes on, if a team is continuously playing bad, you stop giving them that benefit of the doubt. But in the beginning of the year, that happens a lot.
It should be the opposite, because in the beginning, rare, like 1 or 2 teams will ever know how to play the game in the beginning of the year. Later on in the year is when people should actually know.
I'm talking about the first couple of months. We
Even
always
the first
talk
couple
about
months.
we always talk
like
about how a player
teams.
develops over the years, and I'm thinking or develops over the year, and I'm thinking even back like 3, 4, maybe 5 events ago, we're like, we know at the end of the year when he gets to champs time, Apathy is going to be a very good player. Like those things are said, so I don't agree with you there either.
I must be fucking high, chat. If I'm wrong, tell me. Type in the chat if you guys have heard that more than once.
I mean, but like, what do you? So you're saying you've never heard anybody go? You never heard a caster go when a team's getting bullied? Go, okay, these guys are really good players. They just don't know what they're doing. They're going to be good at the end of the year. You've never heard that being said? Because I've heard Clint say Optic's going to be good by the end of the year, maybe 50, 60 times throughout the course of this year. Is that not true?
I don't know. I'm looking at the chat right now. I see is right. I'm
Well,
right.
Of course. These are the same people you were just condemning, by the way, the fans.
Nah, I love those.
So now you love them, though. But you see what I'm saying, though? Like, do you disagree with that? How many times has Clint said Optic is going to be good by the end of the year? It happens a lot. So, like, I just feel like people aren't given... like you're saying,
and you specifically, Ant, I don't give you a lot of the benefit that I give some of the other casters because you should know more about the game than anyone on that broadcast.
Fair.
I expect you to bring up some of these points when you can, but I feel like you don't.
Well, we'll try to change that.
People don't care to hear that kind of stuff, and there's no way for them to actually understand it or know what's going on. I don't really. I see what you're saying, Lamar. I get your point, obviously. But
I just want to know if I'm making sense or I'm being delusional.
No. I get what you're saying. No, Lamar. You want people to not shed a bad light on certain players who don't deserve it. I completely understand that.
And I'm not against scrutiny. I don't want it to come out like, oh, why are people talking bad about these players or this and that? Like, everyone's good, everyone's that. Like, no, the fact of the matter is not everyone's good. There are people that are bad. There are people that are underperforming. There are people that are overperforming, whatever it is. That's all true narratives. But there's also a narrative that I feel like needs to be talked about. Sometimes, in the cases where it does apply, is where, okay, these players are good. You could tell that they're talented players, whatever. They're just playing the game wrong, and that needs to come from they need to figure it out, whatever. But I feel like that narrative that I just said, the one where they need to learn how to play the game and then XYZ will improve, is like 1% of the time when it's actually like a larger portion than what's actually shown.
I agree with that.
point.
But when a team is consistently getting trashed, though, it's tough.
As someone that's on a broadcast, how are you supposed to decide that? Like, you don't know what's going on in the comms. You don't know any of that. You just watch the games and what happens.
Well, you watch the game and you can tell, like, yo, what the fuck are these arrows doing? Look at this road.
Doesn't know what they're doing. That means you suck, right?
Yeah,
if you don't know what you're doing.
It's a really hold on, real quick. What Lamar's asking can be done, but it's a really slippery slope because on one hand, it's like a team is getting shit on 4 events in a row, but you know that the players are good. So, like, for me, like, that's why I made that prediction. Like, when the Surge started to look better, I was like, yo, I was joking when I said they would win, but I did think they were going to get better and go further. Also, I was like, they're going to win the tournament as, like, a bold prediction. I did think they were going to go further than they did, but then they got shit on. So it's a really slippery slope when a team learns to say this team will learn and get better, because that does not always happen. You don't know for sure if a team will learn and get better because of what John said. You don't know what the comms are like. But, like, yes, I agree. We shouldn't be roasting individual people if they're.
Let me say this. because I'm only saying this because Josiah said it in the chat, right? I noticed it myself, but the casters never noticed it or said it in the match. But because Josiah said it in the chat, I want to address it. And let me start this before anyone clips it and starts saying I'm talking shit. That I think Sam is an amazing player, right? I think that, like Josiah said in the chat right here, he said, I played 20 minutes of Batside on Hackney, and my hard carry didn't watch it. Sam is an amazing player, but if you watch their matches back from the last weekend, both times on the break off of good side of Hackney Dom, they won their fights in B. The other team ran up mid and entered their AR players and got the flip right off the rip in the first 20 seconds onto the bat side. And now they're running around getting shit on for the next 5 minutes, spawn trapped.
Okay.
But it was not even mentioned one time like, damn, this person that's their 1.5 that needs help.
That's crazy.
So hold on, no. Let me talk. Let me say something. Lamar, you're wrong. Lamar, you're wrong. At the end of the last contestant the point episode, I literally said Sam was overrated by the community. At the very end of the last contestant the point episode, I said that, and I brought up things, like that.
This has nothing to do with just Sam. I'm using that as an example because Jerry brought it up.
Well, no.
You get what I'm saying?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is like that happens, but people choose to like not really.
Well, to be fair, they also don't have, and already said they don't have a post-match analysis segment.
You don't need a post-match analysis. You see it happen in the game.
Do it during the game.
Well, I mean, that also happens super fast, and you guys are also paying attention and watching the shit back and watching it on a different level than they are. They're literally casting what they see. They're casting whatever the observer picks up for the most part, and calling off of minimap what they see. Like they don't exactly have. They don't have all the information that you have. They don't play the game all the time like you do. They're not going to be able to pick up all the stuff, especially in the game like W.
I strongly disagree with the sentiment that a lot of the pros in the chat share. I think that it is represented pretty well when a team's bad and like we know that players are good on that team. I think it's represented well. I disagree with you guys completely. App, Slack, all of you, like your team is just not good. Like there's nothing to be said other than that your team is just not good. Like it's simple as that. I strongly disagree. I'll try to hold back. But like Serge's ass. Like there's nothing else to say. Like, it's true. And like Sam is the player who is performing, and people are going to talk about that. In any sport, if a team is ass, with the Cowboys, for example, there are people who go, they have so much talent, but they can't seem to win. That happens, bro. Like,
why are you bringing up the Cowboys?
Because you're a Cowboys fan. But I'm just saying, like that happens. And like for the casters in particular, like I agree. Like things happens that people miss. Sometimes that happens in sports too. They're gonna miss things sometimes. Like that's just how it is. But in post, you can go and you can break that down. But yeah, I disagree with Slack and App's assessment. I think that.
I mean, that's fine. You could disagree with them. Don't even pay attention to what they're saying right now. My whole discussion is like those little moments like that. I feel like need to be talked about more in games. Like you're on the good side of a Hackney Dom, and you guys are getting entry for the flip right away, and now your teammates are getting spawn trap for the next 5 minutes. That should be like a holy shit! Look at the big mistake this person made.
Joe do that all the time. I feel like you're not giving the chances and the Joes of the world crap.
They do it. They do it. I'm not saying they don't do it. I never said they do it 0% of the time.
You're saying that they just misses something.
They don't do it all the time. I mean,
like there's been times where I watch it, like I hate that this has become like a me trying to critique the broadcast type of podcast. 'Cause that's not what I want to do at all. But they do it. They do it. But
what you're hoping is that there was like a segment that was formatted around those moments to educate the viewers.
Yeah.
I agree. We've been fighting that fight too.
I think what other longer established sports have, like baseball has it, football has it inside the NFL, Baseball Tonight, where they have like full hour shows where they actually break stuff down to try to like where they can actually take the time and break stuff down. You just don't have the time. And you're gonna miss stuff at the time.
Well, what is it? Wait, John, was it Inside Baseball? Like it's like three viewers.
What's up? No, Baseball Tonight.
It's an Inside Baseball. Okay.
No, exactly. You are right, and they do it all the time. But like you said, people do it all the time. But like you said, when you're casting, I've never casted before, so I don't know. But you're bound to miss things. Like when I'm watching it, I'm not paying attention. I'm just looking at the minimap, I'm looking at the game, and I'm noticing everything. When you're casting, you're obviously gonna miss things, but I think that, like you said, those moments should go back in between the dead time of games or whatever's going on. Something could be figured out. I don't know. It's not my job to figure out when's the best time to do it. But to bring those type of plays up and to talk about them and just educate the fans on how like big moments of the game that kind of flew under the radar that like you only noticed if you really paid attention. You know what I'm saying?
That would
That's
be
true.
that'd
Also,
be
Don
awesome.
Snaps brings up a really good point. He says, "Do fans want to see that though?" And this is something that when I was on the desk last year that we talked about.
Wait, we did
Like
that. We did that last year.
They tried to do like the super analytical version of it, and like obviously your core fans, your hardcore fans, they're gonna love it because they want to see the breakdown and stuff. But people were just turning the shit off. Like nobody was watching
Yeah.
it. They don't really care.
So to take you guys on a trip through time, when I first started doing the desk with Revan in World War II, we actually did that after every series, and nobody watched it. They all X'd it out. Like our viewership would completely plummet. It was like me, Revan, and then Chance. We'd go up there, and we would actually have clips every time that we would go and we'd go through in post game segments. They were super good, but nobody watched it. So then the next year we started to do a little bit more. We'd do like one clip when it was like me, John, and Study, and we're like, oh, this shit's not working. So it ended up changing. And now we're at the point where we don't even have a post game segment, which will end up, that's because of online, but that'll end up getting fixed going into next year. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you there. I think.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't want to watch it, then I understand whatever's going on. But that's just the things that I'm venting right now and talking about is like just hopes that we have as players to improve just the overall health and state and education.
So to rewind, Lamar, to rewind to the core of this, the point of this is to paint certain players in a better light, and
not even just players. Like I don't even, because like I said, I'm not here to say don't scrutinize us, don't whatever. Like I understand that all of us are under a magnifying glass, a microscope. Like we are gonna be scrutinized, we're gonna be praised, all of that. Like that's gonna be there. But there's just certain times where I feel like the game education of the gameplay side can take more of an account than the scrutiny of players or teams. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, no. All right. So now I think you know what you're saying. So you're saying the fun of like a lot of the things that like how people joke about CDL poking fun at certain teams. That time should be taken to educational, segments or things like that for the viewer. Okay. I get what you're saying because we really had to break that down to see what you guys actually wanted. So that I agree. I think it could be sprinkled in here and there. But you still have to have those fun moments, like the no.
Of course, yeah, no, like no one's we're not all like soft little babies. Like, oh no, don't say we did bad or did good. Like, bro, you get shit on, you get shit on. We know we claim our shit. Like, if I get smoked, I'm gonna be like, I got fucking smoked. It is what it is, We're not saying don't say that about us when people do bad or good, but just those other moments to take those opportunities to try to elevate the overall understanding of COD to just our viewership and our fans and everything like that.
So let's move on to the next topic because people want to hear us talk about champs. So going into playoffs and champs, the format of it being a weekend and a week and another weekend. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a hectic situation because like Call of Duty in general is pretty day to day, and then also like this game is pretty day to day. So you could pull up to that first weekend, obliterate everyone you're playing 3-0, 3-0, smoked, top 4, and then by the next week it's like, oh shit! Like you could have literally leveled up if you're a team that barely got by to the top 4, or leveled down if you're a team that dominated literally within that week. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you, at the end of the tournament, there's gonna be people that will tweet, damn, if we fucking played that tournament throughout that whole weekend, we would have won that shit, or we would have won this, or we would have done that, or they would have been like, we would have lost it if we played because we learned this in the next week, or I don't know, something like that.
Think about a fan perspective.
I mean,
bro,
that's not. Yeah, it's mostly about fans, right? And like, because I mean, that's the way it is for most sports and anything.
Yeah.
Right. Like you just go even other esports. League of Legends plays that over like I don't know how long, but they don't play. They play one round at a time. And they go
to you're 100% right in the time framing, but we also know ourselves that COD is not as consistent, or like those games are less day to day than COD.
But it's also kind of fair in the fact that everybody starts the same weekend, starts competing the same weekend, and then.
So what do you do for scrims after?
No, that's what I'm saying. But it's still equal. It's still like. Everybody's in the same situation.
For everyone, so whoever adapts the best to less practice through the week is going to be the best player.
Oh, I definitely think it's tough, but how many days in between is it? Is it like 4 days?
5 days?
5 days? 5 days, yeah. I mean, yeah, you got to like pay a team to come and scrim you, or scrim like the other team that's, that's not on your side. It's just like the only thing you can really do. But in terms of like for broadcasts like that.
Of course, we're all going to do what we got to do to get some practice in, but like, damn, it just sucks because it is what like it is what it is. We're gonna deal. Look, we are dealt the cards. We're gonna play the hand. Like it is what it is. But I obviously wish as a player that it could all be played on one weekend because that's just the way like it should go in my mind. You
No,
know?
I know it's super tough, but I'm just thinking like, dude, that'd be like a lot of COD in like 4 or 5 days. It's like if you take that break, it's like you can soak it all in, make like have some cool shit for a really cool show, make it
Like
super
I don't like that
entertaining.
reasoning. I feel like you're being a suit right now, Ant, so I'll let you rock. But
I know. I'm just
we've done
it's
those
just
5-day, 4-day tournaments for 10 years, and it's been the best viewership and most hype ever. Like, stop trying to act like it's too much cod to soak in, bro. Come
I
on.
just oh man, I really like having those 2 big days. Like I like
It's
having
all
that.
good, bro. It's all
John,
good.
what are your
Like,
thoughts on that?
I mean, being a player on both sides, I actually would have preferred in COD for it just to be one day and just to get it over with. Like, let's get this popping in like, or one weekend, I should say, not one day. But let's get it popping, get it over with. I don't think that it's developed to the point where we need multiple weekends for champs. It kind of just kills the vibe. And in COD, like
other
Lamar said,
huge
they can't
tournaments
practice.
do that.
Yeah, but their
In other sports.
setups are completely different than COD setups. Like, it is a thing where they won't be able to practice. Like, if after you get knocked out, there's no way you're getting on the scrim. You're not taking any amount of money from anyone to get on and scrim them for their final. Like, that's not going to happen. Or whatever I don't know how it goes. Is it like to top 4 after?
Yeah,
What do they
top
play?
4.
Down to? Top
It's
4.
top-
Yeah, like those top 4 teams that's it. Like, they might get a scrim or 2 in against each other, but even that scrim is not going to be taken very seriously because they're not going to. They're not going to show anything. So basically, it's going to be a week of pure research on each other, trying to figure out exactly what they can do. But the gameplay will be like, I would say it's going to be a little bit worse than if they just continued it straight through. So
Yeah.
I think that it would be cool to just keep it going.
You just
I
gotta
mean,
you gotta find one team that gets knocked out, Lamar. You just gotta find a partner team like 10% if we win. You gotta give us your all. You
Nice
gotta give us
try.
your all.
Nice
If we
You're
win,
gonna have to come take that 10%
Nice
from my
try.
dead body.
and you gotta give it your all in practice when we play. It's
Like,
like the
you're
only
gonna
way.
have to come rob me for that 10%.
Going into champs, who do you think your biggest opponents are? Like who would you be?
Harris.
Not necessarily worried, but like apprehensive. Like, all right, this is the team we're about to play. Like, okay,
I mean, I can't really tell you there's any team where I'm like, oh my god, we play them or whatever. But I can just tell you who I think the best team is right now. I think Dallas plays the game the best right now. But besides that, that's like the only like really good compliment I could give out. I never really feel like, oh man, we play this team. Like, oh shit, like
any
I could
other?
just rate.
Go ahead, John.
Can I ask that? How
I
have
could-
scrims been going since you guys won and everyone was up on you guys, and then you guys kind of got choke slammed in the very next homestand?
Yeah, we did.
How have scrims been going since then?
Scrims have been going good the last few days because we took some time off during the last tournament, obviously to like watch the matches and just chill out. Not really anyone to scrim. But since we've come back like a few days ago, I think scrims have been going really well for us. Obviously, there's hiccups here and there for whatever, but that's just all a part of the process. But we've been winning a lot of maps and been doing some good practice.
Thank you for the 5 gifted machete. Appreciate it. With are there any teams in the top 4 that you are like that people regard as top 4 that you're just completely just not worried about?
Stop trying to get some freaking bait out of me, bro.
I'm just wondering, like, is there a team? Is there any teams you're just not worried about?
Nah, bro. I'm worried about everybody, bro. They treat everyone as a threat. Bottom 4, top 4, it don't matter. You gotta treat everyone the same.
I mean, these are just. I mean, we're nearing the.
Lamar's been practicing these answers, bro.
We're nearing,
So
so
soon now. I've been having training, bro. Come on.
for you guys to understand, chat, we're nearing the end of the episode. In the beginning, Lamar was like, "Yo, guys, don't set me up." So now, after our long conversation, I'm asking him some random tough questions. But I think we should probably start the call-ins here in a second. So we have a bunch of people waiting.
Wait, Lamar, who's the worst starter in the league?
Come on,
Here it
bro. Are you
What?
trying to get me in trouble?
I'm not trying to get you in trouble. All right. In your opinion, which starter in the league would you not want to play with? So it could be multiple factors. Maybe he's not the worst
I
player.
mean, clearly it's Trey Zero, right?
No.
Definitely not Trey. I'll take Trey over a lot of players in this league. Look, there is someone, I feel like you know who it is, John, but I'm just not going to say it, bro. If people have
Wait,
been in
why?
the league recently, they know exactly who it is that I would never want to play with
Wait,
again.
what? Why? I'm not aware of this. Who is it?
Don't worry about it, bro. Next question.
All right. Who's the most underrated starter in the league?
Asim.
Asim. These guys, nah, I can't say
Hey, yo, it's my Middle Eastern brother, bro. Shout out Palestine, baby. Let's go. We gotta stick together, bro. There's not a lot of us in COD. It's crazy. So I agree with that. It's not Slack. That he's not underrated.
No,
All right,
it's
who's the most?
definitely
All right, Lamar. Who's the most overrated player? Not the worst. Overrated.
shit.
I know who he wants to say.
No, you don't.
We'll get other people.
Who is it then?
I'm trying to think. Hold on, give me a minute, bro. You can't just like throw this on me and just.
Because it came to your head, it just didn't come out. That's why you grinned.
No, I'm genuinely thinking about it. I'm grinning because of the question, bro. I just know whatever answer I give, there's gonna be repercussions for it. So I'm just thinking of a good answer. Um, Overrated, bro. Like who's really? I don't know. I can't give you a good answer, bro. I'm really trying to think. I can't. I really can't. There's not anyone that I think that's like really overrated that isn't excelling. Like if they're overrated, it's because they're really good. I don't know, man. Fuck. All right, bro. I'll say it, man. I'll say he's not a starter anymore, but I think Godorex was overrated, bro.
Damn.
Okay.
Kick a brother
He's
while
not.
he's down.
He's not afraid of the smoke from Godorex.
Kicking
That's
a
why.
brother
He's
while
like-
he's down, bro. That's just sheesh, bro. Like at least let him have his clout going into next year. It's crazy. But look at
You guys-
Scump, bro.
Wait,
Look
the
at,
chat.
that's not Scump. You didn't enter
Scump,
any of our
Seth
minds.
Yeah, right. Only the chat was trolling. Seth is so soft, bro. Oh
Scump,
my God.
Seth. Everybody thinks you're good, bro. We all think you're good. You're a solid, good player.
I thought he was good, and then the sub got nerfed. Now he's getting chokeslammed. That guy is bummy. Seth is a burgie. Oh, I'm kidding, bro. He's gonna. Oh shit, I'm excommunicated.
Seth thinks that a lot of people think he sucks for no reason. He's solid. Everybody knows Seth is solid, man. You're just not.
People have
You're
been
just
saying
not
that
like
Seth
Seth. You're
for
just
like
not
10 years.
dominant. He's not dominant anymore. That's it. He's got to accept it, bro. He's entered old man years. You're just.
Y'all walking a fine line
Wait,
right
no,
now,
it's
bro.
true, Seth. You're just solid, and you're actually pretty. You've been pretty good at
trolling,
search
bro.
this
That's
year.
the best sub in the game.
Dude.
Let's get Codcast questions in here.
Seth is an above average, just teetering on the edge of being an elite player, but he's not ultra elite anymore. This is true. All right, let's do the call-ins. He's so mad. He's so mad. All right, let's start the call-ins now, dude. Ben, Dragon, the first call-in. That's not even hate. I just said he is an above average, teetering on the edge of being elite. It's true.
Yeah, he's all right.
What's up?
Yeah, looks good, bro.
Hey, good to be back. I've been seeing you guys streaming. Pretty
What's
fun.
good, bro?
Can't wait. Shoot, what was my question? Oh yeah. So we've seen a lot of GAs this year, right?
Yeah.
Certain players don't like him because doesn't favor their team. What's up?
No, you said yeah.
Oh yeah. And other teams don't like the GAs because it hurts their team. But then in the past, we've also had the whole ban protect thing where it's more of a match to match basis. You kind of strategize who am I playing against, what would help or affect them. So as a player in the league, accuracy, and someone who has actually been vocal about GAs, what do you think is the perfect balance?
I don't think ban and protect is the way to go. I think that there needs to be people that well, first let me tell you why I don't think it's the way to go, because you just can't get proper practice for matches that way. Like let's say I want to ban the M4 and the MP5 every time in my ban and protect. No one's gonna scrim me anymore. Like pro teams are not gonna be like, bro, I'm not scrimming you, freaking banning the M4 and the MP5, and then now the whole match comes down to a race on who protects the M4 or protects the MP5 the fastest in the beginning of the ban and protect. You know what I mean? But I think that there needs to be a unbiased group of people, whether it can be it shouldn't be pro players. It should be people that are not physically involved with the league, as competitors that know COD and know what should be in and should be out, and can also filter out the extreme outliers when pros GA too far or GA too little or whatever it is. That can filter out and decide what is good to keep in and what's bad.
But who would that be? Because you're saying someone not in the league, someone not affiliated with it. So are you saying developers at this point, or retired pros?
It should be I think Pac-Man's a good option, and he should have other people.
Yeah.
It should never come to one person. It should be a committee of a couple people, maybe 3 people, 4 people, whoever you can think of, that can filter out when pros are over GAing or not wanting GA things because they think their team's good with it or whatever it is, and move from there.
The problem with what you're saying, though, like even though you say my name for it, the problem is you guys figure this out over time. Like we'd have to scrim for 2-3 weeks to be like, all right, you can only use one smoke. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
we'd have to scrim for so long against other people playing at like really hard to make
that
the
is true.
GAs.
I mean, the reason why we find the GAs or come up with GAs is because, like Porter said it best, like we play to break the game. We play to abuse whatever's going on. So we're gonna find out all the broken things faster than anyone possible. And but then they're just the only issue with it is that there does need to be that boundary because there's a lot of people that do vote on GAs that are like biased and stuff like that.
I think it should be Killa. That's who it should be.
Fool is trolling, bro.
No, I mean it's a really tough situation. It just really comes down realistically. It comes down to the developer because whatever rule anybody else puts in place, whether it's people outside, not a affiliated coach or not affiliated with the league, if it's people who decide it there, the pros are still going to come up with stuff that they don't want to use if it doesn't adhere to what they want. So it comes down to the developer to make a very balanced game that people are happy with.
It comes down to that, but I will say this though, that is just as being a player for however many years, I think there's been like very, very, very rare circumstance where we've like over GA'd something. Like if something gets GA'd, it's a pretty valid reason why, and it'll end up going through.
Are you sure, bro? Like, well, no. I don't want to beef you right now. Like, I mean, I have no like bad intention in saying this, but I do think like the 10mm was kind of too far. I mean, I'm happy you got you guys a dub. I support Zuma, but like I think that was too far, which is why it was changed back.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that was too far. I think that should have been. I think it was too far only because it was done very late in the season. If it was handled early, I don't think it was too far. The only thing that I think has been GA'd that's too far was the AUG. Everything else, I think, has been rightfully, taken out.
Damn, we didn't even see that shit in a match either. It was just gone too.
Yeah. I think the AUG was too far. That is what blew everything out of proportion. But everything besides that, I think we've handled properly.
Well, that got GA'd like the day before FaZe played their match too.
No, not the day before.
That's what I did. No, I DM'd. No. I DM'd RJ, and he was like, "Yeah, we played our last scrim was at like 7 or whatever time he said the day before the tournament began, and we were like just stopped using AUGs at that time. Like we agreed. So like, or maybe it was 2 days. Either way, it was like right before the tournament. Which
it was definitely a few days before the tournament. Yeah, like a couple.
Everyone else is saying that's not true. So yeah.
All right, I don't want to stretch out my time, but thank you
you're
guys.
good, bro. No problem. Appreciate it.
Are you sure?
That was 2 days.
Are you sure?
All right, get the next one in here, Ben. By the way, that was the guy who made the Codcast theme song, bro. That guy's elite.
Nah, he's cool. He had a good question. He was respectful.
Let me find this DM.
Jake, how you doing, brother?
Yo, what's good? I'm chilling.
It's good, bro.
You sound like you're chilling.
Yo, what's good, bro? Jake, you're a regular, man. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. I wanted to ask accuracy. Everybody loves to praise him for his leadership, so I want to ask, what makes a good leader, and what do you think makes you a good leader?
Well, that's a good question. God, I like
He's so happy, bro.
No, I think what makes a good leader is someone that can get everyone to be on the same page about what they need to do in game. Like during practice, get everyone on the same page on how to play these situations. And I think that that's like really important. And also, make sure that there's you hold everyone accountable. I think that's what's really important, because once people start slacking off and you're not holding them accountable, then it could just spiral out downwards for your team. I think that's super, super important. And then what makes me a good leader, like, to be honest, I don't really like to like talk about that too much because I don't want to like, I don't know, it sounds weird.
Trade secrets.
No, not give trade secrets. It just sounds weird to like talk about yourself in that manner. You know what I'm saying? Like it sounds weird to like gas myself up like that. But I think that just the biggest thing is just always trying to push my teammates to be better, hold everyone accountable, and try to perfect the game, and take the game very seriously in a way that I feel like most people don't take COD, and I think that really helps the teams that I'm on.
All right.
To add to this question, so me and you teamed, we would yell at each other nonstop, but it was always to get better, right? How important would you say it is to have teammates that you can actually just talk to, like, bluntly and say whatever you need to
I
say?
think
'Cause I
it's
know often
very important.
like, just
I think it's
says what
very
he's saying, but it's always to get the team better.
Super rare, dude.
I think it's super, 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 super important because if you have to sugarcoat everything, uh, then it's just you're not gonna get the point across sometimes. Like sometimes it is gonna be cut and dry, sometimes it is gonna be blunt, and sometimes it is gonna be uncomfortable. Like you have to be if you want to be the leader, if you want to be a leader on your team, you have to be okay with confrontation, you have to be okay with discomfort, and you have to be okay with having those uncomfortable conversations. And that uncomfortability is what's gonna bring greatness out on the other end. And I think that's super important that people need to like get past that whole it's just vibes and whatever. Like nah, like there needs to be some of that competitiveness, some of that like bluntness that's gonna bring change after the vibey way
That
doesn't.
vibe thing got big in like jetpack games, anyways. And then people
Yeah.
like, dude, we just need the vibes because you really didn't
It was
like have to
like
overcome
AW because you didn't even have to practice.
Yeah.
Show up and hit some shots.
Yo, Jake, thank you for the question, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, Jake.
Let's go, Ben. Drag the next one. Where's shout out Illy at? Yo, Alex Heard, what's up, man? Where you from?
Hey, what's good, bro? I'm from New Orleans. How y'all doing?
Oh, doing
What's good, brother?
great, man. What's your question?
All right. Let me go ahead and ask my question. All right, so y'all have been in the COD scene for like quite a long time, pretty much like from the start, esports wise.
06, bro.
And you've seen that the Optic/Hector organization has been the most popular team throughout all these years. Obviously, that doesn't play into the factor of their skill, but we've seen that these players in that org have a sort of a leg up compared to other players when it comes to like streaming, YouTube, shit like that. Meaning almost other players have to work harder to get an online presence for themselves. Like we've seen Dash get like 1,500 subs in like 90 or some shit like that. So my question is, which one do you think is a bigger reason for that? The diehard old Optic fans that don't give the time of day to other players and teams, or all the other orgs that don't publicize their brand and players like Hector does?
I think it's a combination of
Yeah.
I think it's a combination of both because you're definitely right. There's not a lot of players and other orgs that promote and pump out like really amazing content consistently and take advantage of all of that. And then there's also the fact that Optic just like you said has those biggest players. Like they had Nade, they had Scump, they had the dynasty that went through and dominated. So they gained all those fans early, and they've been there for so long and so consistent with their competitive performance and the content and their likability and all of that. That why would they need to become fans of other people when the fans they became fans of however long ago have been consistently great and producing good stuff for however many years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to take away from Hector and what he's done. They've
They've done
something-
amazing things.
they've done something absolutely amazing. It's like, but when you say like other people haven't done it, it's because the new guys that go and join that team, they just turn on their stream and all of a sudden they're just blessed. So when other people do it and they turn on the stream and they have 35 viewers, it's a lot harder to get on the stream every day and like to build up a thing when you're like, I don't really need to do this.
Well, here's
And-
the thing, bro.
And build up a brand. And like these guys, because of something that Hector built and Nade Shot and Scump, like, these guys built this like a long time ago. They've earned that, and then I guess the runoff from that is they bless other people that join that organization.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
trickle down juice.
They
Yeah.
did it at the right time. They saw like an opening, what Hector did and those guys, and they did it at the right time when other people weren't doing it. And now there's a ton of people creating content and stuff like that everywhere. Everybody is following the initial format that they were, sort of the pioneers, and that fan base didn't leave. A lot of those guys grew with them, and it just expanded as when you're exposed to more people, it's like a spider web. It's gonna grow. So that's why when you join them, you're gonna immediately see a bump because you're playing with Scump, who has millions of subscribers, and Formo is a huge star, and underneath that Hector bubble, which is just massive because of what they did. Other teams are trying to do it though. They're putting out a ton of content. It's just harder because there's so much content out there to be absorbed. I mean, like I thought Rocker, what they were doing was cool, like their videos in the beginning, but it's really hard, bro. Like it's tough. Not as easy as it used to be.
Just the thing is that so far they've done it the best for the longest, so it's only right that they have the most fans. And
Yeah.
for other people to gain part of that fandom, like gain some fans from them or whatever's going on, like they're gonna need to do something amazing. Also, they're gonna be needing people that come out and either dominate competitively or also be producing like amazing content that will get some of the fans on their side.
Yeah, I mean, just think what they did. Like they were a sniping team that had a lot of subscribers, and that was the wave. And then a competitive team, like the first team to get a team house. It is just so much smart shit, bro. That shit, you can't even do some of those things now. But thank you for the question, Alex.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You have a good night.
You too, brother.
Let's bring the next one in, Ben. I like that question. That was a good one. Some people might
Yeah, it
not
was.
understand why other teams can't get big. Yo, Ethan Wilson. Oh, he's out. Yo, Ethan Wilson, what's up, dude?
How are you, lads?
Great. How's your
Good,
wait?
brother.
Is this shit's ass?
No.
Oh, okay. What's your question?
I'm just wondering, like, given the enormous prize purse this year for champs, whether or not there's a chance that Crew will just go rogue and break GAs come to the end of the tourney.
Nah, I don't think anyone will do that. I think too many pros have way too much integrity,
Yeah.
and like
It'd be a
they
shit
value like, of course everyone values money, but after someone works this long and this hard to gain the reputation and the respect of their peers and all the fans involved, I don't think they want to throw that away for, let's say, like, yeah, 80 grand's a lot of money, bro, but if you're hated by all your peers or like, the fans, you're gonna have a longer career, like the next few years, that you can make up that
Well,
money
dude.
if you would have won
Yeah,
by
what
We've
about
had-
Jet,
GA or
though?
whatever.
Ethan, we've had champs before, and GAs weren't broken, unless the team was. I don't know. There's been weird little instances, but for the most part, nothing crazy like that has happened before.
Not exactly true.
I mean, we saw the double grenade, danger close, or whatever.
we saw
but,
danger close.
but
That's the danger close, like that is like whatever, breaking GAs or whatnot, but also at the time, like, bro, they were playing Nagas using a thermal LMG, like
Yeah.
GAs are off the
I
table
would
using
just say-
IMRs and thermal LMGs versus that team. It doesn't matter.
we've had champs before, and it hasn't been a shit show. So I would assume the same would happen this year. Like, it'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. How have you guys have the pros discussed like the start kill cam glitch or whatever?
Yeah.
I just assume that everyone's gonna end up doing it.
We
when
need
it
a
matters.
patch for that. I don't know how to police that.
Yeah,
No, you
I think we're just hoping that it's gonna get patched. We're just
Okay.
we raise our
Okay, but-
concerns.
Because
When it
Lamar,
doesn't-
when
when
it
it
comes
doesn't
to
get
it,
that-
when it comes to it, and it's 300 grand on the line, yo ass is pressing start. like, let's be real, yo ass is pressing start.
I'm
So-
saying.
So like,
I mean,
And
I
there's-
truthfully think that there's no way, from all the public outcry that's been gone on from us, that the league can't get something out of Activision or
I think
Infinity
that'll be
Ward
fixed.
to get it fixed before champs. There's just way too much on the line. Everyone made it about competitive integrity and this and that. Like, they have to do something about it. If they don't, it'll be bad. So I'm assuming and I'm hoping, I put my faith in it, that they'll get it done.
Wait, Lamar. So that start glitch rally we didn't talk about. That's why certain people look like they had 99 awareness, right? That has to be it. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, I think people were doing it. I think people were doing it. I think people weren't doing it. There's some people that were doing it, some people that weren't doing it, this and that. Like, it is what it is. We're never gonna be
Were
able
you
to
one of
prove
them?
it. Was I one of them? I didn't play at the tournament, bro.
Yeah, you did.
Wait, at the last tournament?
Did you not?
No.
Or was it the one before?
No.
The one before.
One before that.
Damn.
Do happening
Yeah,
then.
you got smoked so
Come on,
fast.
man. Get your facts right.
All right,
bro.
yo, Ethan,
My
thank you for the
bad, bro.
question, bro. Take it easy, man.
No worries,
That was
catches.
on me.
All right, Ben, let's get it, man.
You would have used it though, Lamar. Let's keep it a stack.
Yeah, yo, man, that's great. Imagine knowing about that all season. Like,
They didn't though. Those things never get kept secret very long.
Hey, what's up, man?
Good, brother.
oh shit, what's up, dude?
What do you mean? Oh shit, bro. The only shit here is the league, bro. Like, I mean,
Is this the
I
legend?
gotta, I could do.
Is this
No,
cousin?
I gotta be honest. I saw the MVP like candidates, and I mean, Illy was not in there, so I don't know if I want to keep watching, bro. Like, this is stupid, bro. I mean, what, huh? Okay. So I got a question for actually Mr. Nameless, because you work with the league, right?
Yes.
So do you think like Grubhub is a good sponsor for the league? Because like every week we see like Mr. Chance with like the pizza, and like I swear he eats nothing else. But like also like Grubhub, like there's always food on the stream, and like, you know, in between games, up orders looking at the stream, right? And like he's already kind of thick, bro. So like, do you think we really should have Grubhub, because it's affecting his ability, and like size matters, bro? Like Simp is like 4'10", and look at how good he is, bro. So like, that's what I'm saying.
Bro.
I mean, I do think Grubhub's a great sponsor. Let's be honest. I mean, discounts on food. I don't see what's wrong with it being a sponsor. Why do you have a problem with Grubhub? What's your issue with Grubhub, bro?
Want to play Search and Destroy like a pro? Here's some S&D recon from the U.S. Air Force. Really, bro?
What the fuck, dude? I don't even know what to say, bro.
That was for the fucking clown, bro.
I don't even know what to say, dude. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe time and time again he comes in and he delivers every time, bro. I don't understand.
Guy's a beast.
Yeah, this guy's the GOAT, bro. He's the GOAT.
Yo, Cruz, what's up, man? Where are you from?
Yo, how you guys doing? I'm from Washington State out here. Looking sad for the Seattle
up,
Surge,
bro?
by the way.
Yeah.
All right.
You a Surge
shit.
fan?
I plead the fifth, Your Honor. No further statements.
All right, what's your question, dude?
All right, so you guys know how subs basically just don't get playtime. Besides search tourneys, those don't really count. I was thinking, like, why doesn't every team just get an academy team? And instead of hiring content creators and stuff like that, why don't we get 5 amateur players or bench pro players and make every single team have a playing academy team in the Challengers division to kind of get more use out of that 50,000 that they're paying their subs.
So you want them to pay?
Five people.
Yeah, you want them to pay 250,000 for people?
Yeah, that's a lot, dude. I don't know.
Is
I
that?
don't know.
I think it
But
really comes down to money. He's like, hell no.
I think that it just costs too much money. I mean, I get what you're saying. You know, the sub rules this year definitely were a little weird, and they need to be reworked for next year. But I just don't think the idea you propose is the solution, because you can't just mandate the leagues they put out way more money than they were expected to with just signing 2 subs or whatever. Now they have to pay 5 people 50 grand. That's kind of hectic.
Yeah, that's a lot. And there
Yeah,
has to be
good
guaranteed minimums for people.
Yeah, no, there's solutions, but I just don't think that is the
Yeah,
solution.
yeah.
But there's definitely solutions.
I mean, the obvious solution is let the subs play. There's no reason the subs should not be able to play.
And if he has to come to the pro team, it's just
It is what it
team's
is.
chalk.
It is what it is,
Like,
right,
like,
Smoke like you guys smoked. It is what it is.
yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
But thank you, Cruz. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Go to New York because Seattle's looking a little slow.
Hey,
Yeah.
appreciate that, man. Thank you.
How did you go from Washington to New York?
'Cause he bangs with us, bro.
Hey, you got to travel east if you want to see a winning team.
Yep. Come on.
All right, I guess.
All right, yo, Ben, was that it for the call-ins?
Yeah, that's it right now.
Let's go, man. That was a good episode, bro. We went for a while. It's 2 hours.
Yeah,
It's
we
a
did
good
go
one,
for a
man.
while. I mean, that was fun. It was cool. It was
That was
just
super
chilling.
fun, dude. Next week, guys, I announce it next week. We have Slasher as the guest. It's gonna be lit.
Oh, I can't
It's
wait
gonna
to
be
tune
lit.
into that. Brother Slash.
Brother Slash, dude. It's been a minute
And
since he's been on
finally
the show.
ask him why he fucking fired me, bro. It's lit.
Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Brother Liddy Goat, man. He's got the flow going. Team's looking a little bit better, dude.
Better
Can't
not
wait
be
to
wearing
talk
a
to him.
hat, Austin, when you get on here. We need that. You need the cheddar out, bro. The lettuce. You gotta have the flow up.
But yo, Lamar, thank you for coming on the show, dude. I think we had a
Oh, man.
a
Thank you
good
for having me.
conversation. Good time.
Yeah, I think it was good too. Appreciate you having me on.
John, thank you as well.
Thank you,
Taking
of
time out.
course.
All right. Thank you guys all for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you leave a like and share it. You know, turn some notifications on. If you're on your way to work, hope you have a fantastic day at work. If you're listening on Spotify or iTunes, go ahead and leave a review, please. And thank you. Much love to you guys who come out each week and are in the chat. And for those of you who come into the call-ins every week, appreciate you guys as well. You guys have a fantastic evening or night. I'm going to host somebody, and I'll see you guys next week.
Peace, guys.